There's more to imagine when you listen, so let your imagination soar with Audible. Audible has audio titles from every genre that will inspire you to imagine new worlds, possibilities, and ways of thinking. As an Audible member, you get to choose one title a month to keep from their entire catalog. Enjoy an exciting reawakening of a beloved classic with the Audible original, David Copperfield by Charles Dickens, produced by Academy Award-winning director Sam Mendes, starring Ncuti Gatwa, Helena Bonham Carter, and Theo James. This adaptation breathes new life into a familiar tale. New members can try Audible free for 30 days. Visit audible.com/imagine or text IMAGINE to 500-500. That's audible.com/imagine or text IMAGINE to 500-500.
Are you struggling to close deals? Cold outreach is wasting the time of both the buyer and seller at every stage, especially when sellers are using shallow and outdated data. Your organization can overcome these challenges with technology that translates comprehensive, high-quality buyer data into real-time insights. These deeper insights empower sales reps and teams to adopt the habits of top performers, which leads to better outcomes, like more pipeline, higher win rates, and larger deals. We call this deep sales. And we've built the first deep sales platform with the next generation of LinkedIn Sales Navigator. Right now, you can try LinkedIn Sales Navigator and get a 60-day free trial at linkedin.com/trial. That's linkedin.com/trial for a 60-day free trial. Let LinkedIn Sales Navigator help you sell like a superstar today. Just go to linkedin.com/trial and get started.
Hey everybody, Garen here, your friendly neighborhood garden squirrel. Just a note about today's episode. Kristine has come down with COVID, unfortunately, so no new episode this week. Instead, what you're getting is the extended edition of Mike Schmidt's appearance from a little while back. This is the version of the episode you get when you're a member of the Patreon. Every episode that we release is extended. We cut them down a little bit for the free feed, but if you want the full, pretty much uncut versions of the show, go to patreon.com/podcast how to survive and join. It's great. It's a great community. There's some cool benefits. We'd love to see you over there. And then you'll get the full versions of every episode we do. So in the meantime, please enjoy this. This little glimpse is what you get with that Patreon, and we'll see you soon. Okay. And always remain calm.
Welcome to How to Survive with Danielle and Kristine, the show that teaches you how to survive the stuff that can kill you.
Like El Nino, or falling into a sinkhole, or sleep deprivation.
And the stuff that just makes you wish you were dead.
Like getting a bad tattoo, working for a family member, or falling asleep on the job. Wake up, Kristine!
Ah, whoa, okay. You know what would make me feel really refreshed?
What?
The theme song.
Let's play it.
Shaking under our feet, mountains on fire, flooding in the street. Can't breathe the air, can't fight the feeling. Gobbling down Xanax ain't the way to be dealing. Gotta do better than just getting high. We gotta stick together if we're gonna survive. How to survive. How to survive.
Welcome to How to Survive with Danielle and Kristine. I'm Danielle.
Hey, Danielle and Kristine.
Kristine, you're wearing a ponytail today. I've never seen it on you, and I like it.
Thanks.
I like it.
You know, I'm doing a lot of pulling my hair back because I've been really hardcore considering cutting all my hair off really short.
Okay.
And doing like a punk hairstyle.
Pixie? Or like a
Pixie.
Sarah Schaefer from SNL thing?
I don't...
Like a mullet?
Sort of. No, not quite a mullet. I think more like sort of a messy punk rock, really short haircut, and then bleach blonde.
Holy shit, you would look fantastic that
with
way.
like dark roots.
Like Billie Jean? Not Billie Jean.
Who's that?
Billie Jean. Legend of Billie Jean.
I can't picture it.
It's Helen Slater? Helen Shaver?
Yeah, just
Slater.
I just want to.
Slater.
I think this is guys. This is my midlife crisis.
Do it.
It's all happening.
That's his to go reference. The Legend of Billie Jean.
All I can think of is that song about the guy on the bridge.
Oh, walkie talkie.
In the moon of Hattie Bridge.
Yeah. That's a totally other release. Because The Legend of Billie Jean, I think, is a song as well as a
Well, Billie
TV
Jean is
movie?
Michael Jackson.
Yes, but
Yeah, but that's not the same thing.
No, I know, but that's why I always question if I have it right.
Oh.
Because it's...
Well, it sounds like we're going to have a lot for what did I learn today?
all I know is we're really pulling on the like relevant pop culture references right now.
I
Lots
was
of
going to say more like Billy Idol.
yes, I think it's more like Billy Idol.
It's more like Billy Idol. Some Billy.
I can't figure out if it's going to be cool or terrifying.
No, I think you have the face for it. It'll look fantastic. It's just a lot of maintenance because you're going to have to bleach your hair.
Yes, well, I'm not gonna.
No, you're not going to.
Yeah, something like that, but not.
Wait, let me see.
But not quite that short. But
Okay,
yes.
so is that Helen Slate? Oh, it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, no. That's too blonde and too short and too 8. Yeah, you want a little more.
a little longer, a little less sort of close to the. You're on the right track, Aaron.
Are you going in with pictures?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, don't bring that one because it's not quite right.
I'm not going to bring that one, but it's a good reference, Garen.
It's a good movie. Christian Slater's in it.
So yeah,
Christian Slater.
Oh, the Slaters, yeah.
the Slaters are they related?
I don't think so. I think it's just a coincidence.
I never even thought about that.
She was Supergirl. She has.
Where did she go?
Well, she had zero charisma as far as I remember.
She didn't die, did she?
I don't know. I don't think so.
Helen Slater, where are you? So yeah, anyway, so I'm pulling it back to just kind of get myself
Get used to your
geared
face.
up, get used to this face. And yeah, I'm thinking about getting some tattoos.
Are you really?
Yeah.
Okay. You still have the tattoo you had before?
Yep, still back there.
What is it again?
A Black Panther.
What?
Wakanda forever.
Exactly. I've
ahead of the curve.
I've always supported the movement
Culture.
since I was 16.
Yeah. Why did you get a Black Panther?
Well, I thought it was cool.
Is it prowling?
It's scratching my back. One paw is scratching my back. The other
don't
paw
know who you are.
is just
I know.
like by its body.
The other one has the head of Helen Slater in its mouth.
It's just tearing off Helen Slater's head.
Okay, so but it didn't have any significance for you. You just thought it was cool.
I was like, well, I was with two friends.
Yeah,
We were in
that's how it
high
always
school.
starts. Yeah.
One of them got a rose going through a heart. The other one got a heart with wings.
A rose going through a heart. A rose going through a
Yeah,
heart?
like there's a heart and then a rose with a thorn, like one single rose. I think this is my memory. This is a
Yeah.
long time ago. Going through, like stabbing the heart.
Okay.
Oh, I see. Okay.
And then the other is a heart that had little wings.
Okay.
And I was like,
Didn't you get the memo? The heart memo?
I didn't. I was like, I'm a badass. You guys
Yeah.
remember this was
I-
around the time
I
period
had a
that I got
throwdown
in a
in the
fight
street, yeah.
in the middle of the street and cut off jean shorts and no shoes. Wow. And I was like looking at the big wall of tattoos.
Uh-huh.
We were supposed to be touring a college that day.
Okay. But you didn't.
That's why we weren't in school.
Oh, okay.
think-
You were supposed to be touring the college on your own?
Yeah, you could get a day off school if you went and toured a college. You'd get a pass. This
see.
was 11th grade, and we went and got tattoos.
You were 16 in 11th grade?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, okay.
I graduated when I was 17. I might have been 17. I think I was 16.
Wait, you graduated when you were 17?
I thought I did.
But you're born the same year as I was,
my birthday's in March because it's going to
Yeah.
be this weekend.
right? You're only
Maybe I
a
was
month-
17.
I mean, I graduated, I was 18. So maybe we'll talk later about what years we graduated high school.
You know, who knows at this point?
You don't know what year you graduated high school?
I do know, but I don't. Maybe I'm wrong on the age that I got this tattoo. I know I was not of legal age, and I was,
I was
still in
gonna
high
say,
school.
don't you still have to get legal permission to?
You have to be 18 to get a
Right.
tattoo, but you know, we went to a place where they were.
They
loose.
looked the other way.
They did not ask
so,
for ID.
And so now you're gonna get Marvin the Martian.
So I looked
with
at
a machine gun or something.
I looked at the wall.
Yeah.
And I was like, not those.
Yeah,
I'm not like that.
not those girls with
I need
flowers.
I'm tough.
Yeah.
Clearly.
Mm-hmm.
What looks tough? That Black Panther that right there, that seems like me.
So you didn't think about it ahead of time, what you were gonna get,
No, I didn't know this was happening. This was like
Oh, it
we
was a
we did
spontaneous-
tour the college.
and you were done early.
And then they were like, we should go get tattoos. And I said, yep, sounds good to me.
Wow.
And that's how it happened.
Okay. Do you regret that tattoo?
I didn't, and then I did for a long time.
Yeah.
And now I'm sort of resigned. I mean, it's, you know, it's part of who I am.
Sure.
It's very faded. I would love to get it fixed and sort of.
You want it darker?
I want it more prominent. I would probably get a better cat over it.
Now you would get like a kitty cat.
Your baby kitten. I'd get my cat's face over it. It just looks really faded and bad now.
So what are you planning on getting now?
So I don't know. I'm probably
Calvin peeing on what?
On a Black Panther.
Perfect. Well, you have it half done.
I don't know. I'm going to go in and pick something off the wall that looks badass.
Oh, no.
No, I'm kidding.
Okay.
I might get my kids' initials.
Okay. And you're
on my
pointing
wrists.
at your wrist, so that's a good place to do it. Yeah.
Small, very small.
I like that.
I'm thinking. I'm going to actually think about it this time.
Okay.
So, do either of you have tattoos?
I think you know the answer to that.
Yeah.
No, I do
I
not.
want one, but
What would you get? Freddy Krueger's hand clawing at your...
that's the obvious one, but I... Sometimes I don't even know what I'm saying.
Or like Chucky's, like, you know how Ben Affleck has that big tattoo on his back? That would be
the
you,
Phoenix.
but you would get Chucky's head.
Yeah. Just grinning.
Man, let me just do an all-day tattoo of Chucky,
Ew.
life-size Chucky on my back. Maybe song lyrics, or this is gonna be. I like ladybugs, so maybe like a ladybug at
They're
some
supposed
point.
to be good luck, right?
Yeah, I like that idea. I like
So
the ladybug idea.
what song lyrics would it be?
There's a song called Seasons, and the lyric is "Move forward like the seasons." And
Okay,
I would
that's
have it
nice.
kind of seasonal looking, like each maybe like a square where each part of it is a different season.
Oh,
kind of
okay. So
surrounding
you
it.
have thought this through.
I have a lot. And
Who
then I never
is
do
the
it.
song by?
It's by a guy named Grayson Chance.
Oh, I don't know that person.
He was the kid that Ellen discovered when he sang Paparazzi.
I have seen this. I have done a YouTube thing and I saw that kid. Yeah.
Yeah, he came out.
He not sued her, but he said that she held him back or something.
She
There's some
basically
controversy.
abandoned him. Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't know why she was responsible for him.
She signed him to her label.
Oh, that's what it
Yeah,
was. Okay,
and-
she had
and
him
she
on.
just kinda-
That's right.
Yeah.
I did see that story.
But he came out and put out 2 of the best records I've ever heard in my life, and
Wow.
I'm kind of obsessed with them. So that song always kind of gave me like feels, emotions and shit. So emotions and shit. I can't remember.
Fuck yeah.
So that's that was the
That sounds
first one.
good.
I like this.
Yeah.
And are you? What's holding you back? The cost, the fear, the pain. I might regret this one day.
It might be a little bit of, I don't know about regrets because who cares? But yeah, it's probably money right now, and then the pain.
The pain, yeah.
Because I don't do well with. Last time I got my blood drawn, I almost passed out. So
Yeah, this
I
might
don't
not be
know
for you.
what's going to happen with that. But
have-
it's on the agenda. You
They
know.
have like a temporary tattoo.
I just heard
thing.
about
My friend
that.
did it.
Yeah.
Where it eventually fades away.
Yes.
So I guess it's if you want to get the
art-
idea.
like tattoo artists can do it temporary. I'm sure they
I
can.
think so. Yeah. I mean, it's
But
not a
they've got
Cracker
that-
Jack thing where you lick the back and then stick it on your wrist and hold it there with a washcloth. It's not that. It's it's like it lasts for 6 weeks or something like that.
Yeah, it feels like I just read an article though where people are having issues with it not fading,
I could see that.
but
I'll have to ask her.
it feels like I could be wrong. Like, don't take my word for that. We should look that up because, you know how you just see a headline as you're
Yeah.
scrolling, and then you're like, okay, now I know that information.
Right.
That doesn't mean it's true. I will let you know, Garen, when I book it, and then if I go through with it, I'll give you the information on the place, and you can decide if you want.
If you do the temporary thing, you mean?
No, I'll do it.
Oh, they have the real.
I'll do it for reals.
For reals.
For reals, though.
Just go. Let's do it.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, that would be great if
could
you
make it
two
a
just
field
go
trip.
and do it.
Oh yeah, we can
Yes,
do
and I'll just watch
videos,
laugh.
and we can.
Yeah, because I'm not doing it. I got no interest. I did at one point think, I'll get like an armband type thing.
Yeah.
Little tribal art.
No, I don't like tribal anything.
I always think,
I hate
that's the
tribal
thing about
anything.
tattoos too, though, that always concerned me is because they are sort of trending of a time.
Yes.
Like you can tell what's
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
based on
That's
a
true.
certain time
Yeah,
That's
I
period.
don't
why
want
you-
anything to do with that.
Well, that's why you go with a classic like a black
a panther on your
Black
shoulder.
Panther on your shoulder.
It's timeless.
It is.
It's like pearls.
So I did something very fun this weekend. The thing I've been working on for about a month was the Writers Guild Awards. I write for that every year. So we write like the presenter copy and some of the monologue stuff and some bits, and it went really well. And so this was the first year that Jimmy and Oliver could come, so I was very excited. And
what did you wear?
I wore that red jumpsuit that I told you about that I got on Poshmark. Oh, you haven't seen online? I posted the pictures on Facebook.
I haven't seen them yet.
Oh, okay. I'll show you.
I can't wait.
Yeah, and then I wore this. My dad got me this really nice like blazer for my birthday, and I was like, when am I ever going to wear a blazer?
Your dad picked out a blazer for you?
It was very sweet because
That's so nice.
Normally my mother would get me a birthday present, and my dad would just sign the card, and so he went out. Like he went out to the store and bought this. It was just very sweet, and
I'm impressed.
I was really. It meant a lot. Not that he's like this grumpy guy who would never get me a present or something, but he just hasn't had to do that in the last 20 or so years. So it was very sweet, and it fit, and yeah, it's great. It's really nice. So anyway, so I was backstage waiting for Tiffany Haddish to come back because I had to go over her presenter copy with her. So I couldn't go out and see Oliver and Jimmy at the seats, which I normally would have done, but she was the only one who hadn't finalized her copy. Like we write jokes, we send them, then they have to tell them, oh, we like this, but we want to change this or whatever. So he said, oh, so Jimmy was texting me and he was like, oh, I saw this person, that I know, I saw this person, and I saw my friend Kate Blanchett, and he spelled Kate wrong, so I was like, oh, you mean Kate, C-A-T-E? And he was like, yeah, haha, whatever. Turns out he really did see Kate Blanchett. I thought he was joking.
Right.
I had no idea that Kate Blanchett was at our awards. Like, this is a Writers Guild Award, so it's usually only famous people in that they're famous as writers, so they're not super famous, or that they're presenting, so they're like mainly comedians. We get all funny people because we distinguish our show from the other like Producers Guild, Directors Guild, and that it's funny. It's like supposed to be really funny, which it is. So yeah, I never saw her. But apparently Kate Blanchett was there because of Tar, because Tar was nominated. So it was like, yeah, I know, it was really exciting. And Charlie Kaufman was there. He got a special award, and he had a great speech about, you're supposed to be writing for yourself, not for the studio. And it was very heartfelt, and it was just great. So yeah, what else can I tell you? I went up to right after Jimmy and Oliver left. The guy who's like the head writer creator, I believe, actually, of Severance, came up to someone I was talking to, and I wanted to make sure it was him. So I was like, "Can I look at your award?" Because I never seen one close up. So I looked at it just to make sure I was right. And I was like, "I just have to tell you, my son and I are the hugest fans of Severance. Like, I wrote so many fucking Severance jokes that didn't make it into the show, and he was so, like, I would think someone who would write that show would be like some alpha, like, I don't know, science fiction dude. He's the sweetest guy. Yeah. I have to look up his name. I don't know his name right now. But and he was like, oh my God, thank you so much. That's so nice. That's really nice to hear. And then he was like, yeah, we go to these other award shows and they're really boring. And this one was so much fun.
Aww,
it was really nice.
That must have felt good.
Yeah.
Good job, Danielle.
Yeah, it was really good.
I'm going to give 100% of the credit to you.
You should. I wrote every single word.
% to anyone else that worked on it.
Yes. Oh, and Jamila James, who's on Abbott Elementary, is the principal. I know I've said in the past I'm not a fan of the show, and I'm still not a fan of the show. She was fantastic as the host of the show. She was like born to be a host. Her comedy instincts are like top notch. She looked fabulous. Like, she was just great. So yeah, it was a really good experience. Okay, did you find the name?
Yeah, Dan Erickson.
Dan Erickson.
Yeah.
Is he like kind of blondish and?
Oh, he's the
sweetie
creator.
pie looking. I just want to make sure it's the same guy.
Oh, I mean, just
is he sweetie pie looking?
Is he sweetie pie looking?
I want to know
Is that sweetie pie looking?
Yes.
Let me see what Danielle thinks is sweetie. He does look
sweetie pie.
Like he'd be a nice person.
Yeah, he was super nice. And okay, so there was that, and then I thought I was going to say something. Oh, yeah. So it's a tradition that the writers who wrote the show, we all go out to dinner afterwards at a fancy place.
Okay.
Like the fanciest place I ever go to.
Yes.
And
so not Luna Grill.
Not Luna Grill.
One step above Luna Grill.
You talking Red Lobster?
I'm talking Mastro's. Do you know Mastro's in Beverly Hills?
I've been, but it's been a long time.
It's very fancy. We get a seafood tower. It's very exciting. So,
a seafood tower?
Yes.
It sounds like almost like to me like a chocolate fountain, but it's all like shrimp and crab, and then butter's just coming off of it.
That would be great. There isn't butter coming off, but the rest of it is correct.
Wow.
Yeah, it's fantastic. So I'm wearing high heels because I'm, supposed to look nice and everything. And I took my heels off to walk from the venue because I had all my stuff with me to the parking lot.
Yes.
But then when I drove from the hotel, which is where it's held, to the restaurant, I switched back into my heels. So I'm walking. I get out of the garage. It's Beverly Hills, so I'm like, I'm not going to pay for valet. So I parked in a public garage. And I'm walking, and my heel breaks. The strap came off.
God, this is like a rom-com.
Yeah. Except, right. So it's not the kind of heel where you could still wear it. Like, it's just a strap across the toes. That's it. So I had to walk back to my car, like in the parking garage barefoot, and get my tennis shoes and go back. So
you had to go to Mastro's in your tennis shoes?
I know. I was actually a little bit like preparing for an argument if they told me I couldn't come in.
Yes.
But I realized that like some people would wear like a nice kind of fancy jumpsuit with tennis shoes look cool.
It's in.
I didn't look cool, but
it has to be like the right tennis shoes.
Right, and they weren't.
Yeah.
They weren't, but it was still okay.
I'm not agreeing with you by saying yeah, but
it wasn't like meant to go together.
Did you bring the broken shoe just in case they were going to be like, you can't come in here?
I thought about it. Or like take a picture or something. Yeah.
Also, it's LA, and that's the same restaurant where I'm sure Jennifer Aniston could go in a sweatsuit.
Yes, exactly.
Like they don't have a dress code. LA doesn't really have a dress code in the way that like I think New York or London has dress codes. It's like when I think we're going somewhere dressy, like if we say we've gone to theater, like we've gone to see something at like the Amundsen, and I'm like, oh, I get to dress up, and I'll get really excited, and I'll wear, not that I'm not wearing a ball gown or something, but I'll wear something kind of nice, like a dress or dress pants, and then people are just in flip flops and cutoffs.
It's shocking to me.
It kind of makes me upset, but it also kind of makes me. It's one of the things I love about living here too, is that you don't have to feel that pressure.
I don't like it. I think there are occasions. I think you should dress for the occasion.
Opening night at the Pantages Theater. Maybe
I agree.
Don't show up in overalls and a weed out of your mouth, you fucking hillbillies.
I mean,
I think it says something to the performers. It says something to you. It says, as the person going, it's like, this is a special, I'm treating myself to a special evening. Like, I'm not saying you have to wear a ball gown, but just nice. Anyway, so then yesterday, so I was a little bit hungover yesterday, so I was like, oh, this isn't great.
Did you ever have a cocktail?
Well, I actually had 2 different cocktails.
Whoa.
As I had one right after the show.
Sound.
Then when we went, I had a cocktail and a glass of wine.
Nope.
So,
big mistake.
Honestly, it wasn't that bad.
That's good. I'm happy for you.
It wasn't that bad. And I was kind of like, this is what you do at Mastro's. You do the whole deal.
You're having good stuff.
Yeah. So, but because last night, Oliver and I were participated in a pickleball tournament for charity.
Yay!
At the place we go.
Okay.
So I'll try not to make this too long, but
stretch it out. We want all the details.
We were put in what was called Beginners Plus. And I was like, oh God, I'm sorry, Oliver. Because like, if it weren't for me, he would, for sure be an intermediate.
He likes to play with you, though.
He does, but it was still kind of a bummer. But then when we saw who all was in Beginners Plus, it was like, sure, some people were definitely going to beat, and it's not going to be a problem. But there were also people totally at our level. Like, it made sense.
Okay.
They were not. Then, when we were warming up, they gave us time to warm up. Also, it was freezing.
I was thinking about that because it's been pretty cold.
Yeah. Well, it was supposed to be last Monday, but it was pouring rain. Mm-hmm. So it was last night. So as we're warming up, these 2 people come in who we've never seen before. I mean, a lot of the people I had never seen before, but these 2 people come in, and one of them just starts like coming on to the court while Oliver's there warming up. And she's like, oh, you can stay. And he was like, what? And then it turns out they've never played pickleball before.
Okay.
They don't know the rules.
Oh, you can stay? That's such a weird thing to say.
It wasn't even condescending. It was like she just didn't understand how it worked.
Okay.
So we're all still practicing. The tournament hasn't started. And we're watching them. They don't know the rules. But they're fucking amazing players because, like, they're tennis players or something.
Okay.
It was a brother and sister. And the guy was really tall and he would just go dink. Like, he just, like, and she had amazing, like, spins and, like, slices. And she was fucking amazing. I'm like, well, this is ridiculous. So anyway, long story short, we play, you get matched up with different people. You play. We won all but one game.
Nice.
And the one game we lost by 1 point. So then it was, okay, well, this other team is going to play the brother and sister because the brother and sister were undefeated.
Those two.
Yeah. So then we're like, wait a second. And they're going to play for first place. And Oliver and I were like, wait a second. We have the exact same score as this other team.
Yeah.
Because we lost one game by 1 point and they lost one game by 1 point. So we have the exact same score. So anyways, there's all this mishigas. They hadn't planned for this. So then we played this team again. We'd already played them once and lost. And then we played them again and we won.
Okay.
So then we were playing for second place. And we played the brother and sister team. And we at one point it was 5-0, us 5. So it was like not a bloodbath, but they won. Okay. And but we got second place.
Nice.
We were so excited.
Very good.
And as we were shaking their hands, or like you bump paddles when you're done, the brother of the brother-sister team was like, I told her, it was like her fault. She insisted we sign up for beginners. So I'm sorry. Because it was like they were ringers. It was ridiculous.
Yeah.
But anyway, so that was very nice. And
Well, congratulations.
Thanks. We were actually nervous. Like we were up there nervous.
I call that a win. You guys, I mean, those are... Well, you guys are like the Harlem Globetrotters against the Generals or something, and you almost beat them. Wait, that isn't how that works.
No.
You know what I mean.
You know Garen with his sports references.
Yes, he loves the sports analogy.
He's so good at that.
Yeah.
You
really
are
cute.
actually better at them than I am, so I shouldn't make fun of you. Well, congrats. I hope you got a prize.
We got a little medal. That's a second. And we were so excited. It was really cute.
The cutest.
But Oliver was like, make sure when you tell the story, Mom, you explain that the people who beat us were like, I'm like, I'm going to explain it. I got it under control.
We got it.
I'm like, they were pros. They were like ringers. It was ridiculous.
They got college scholarships based on pickleball to Harvard.
Tennis, at least.
Yeah.
So
that is, I mean, well, I'm very happy for the two of you. And
thank you. It was super fun.
I aspire to be sporty with one of my children someday. I have something to share.
Yes.
Because we did speak about alligators.
Yes.
Last weekend, and wrestling of alligators, right? And how to survive alligators. And I sent a picture to Danielle.
Oh, yeah.
About the fact that at that same time period, coincidentally, my brother and his girlfriend went to Florida so they could hunt alligators.
Right.
And I've been trying to get the details. We keep missing each other on the phone.
Oh.
But my brother's girlfriend, Amanda, caught an alligator in Florida.
In the wild.
How do you catch
in the
it?
wild?
Well,
or is it a place set up for?
It's a reserve. It's like 2,000 private acres where you can. My brother went boar hunting.
Yes,
and she went alligator hunting. So
okay, so that was the point of it, to hunt an alligator.
Yeah.
Okay.
I thought she was going to wrestle an alligator because that's what my dad told me.
Right.
He was like, well, your brother and Amanda are on their way to Florida so she can wrestle an alligator. That was the message that I got. And
maybe he thought that's how you hunt them.
Maybe. Or maybe was the original plan, and then it turned out you can't just go in and wrestle them.
Choke it to submission.
I mean, I don't know all the details because I can't get anyone on the actual phone, but I'm trying.
Okay.
So I did get a text that she said it was fun. I'm going to read the text to you. The gator was super strong, and I had bruises from my digging the pole into my thigh crease. We got the skull and bumpy part of the hide. The hide takes 12 to 15 months. We will be eating it at the family reunion.
Oh, for fuck's
sake. So guess
sake.
who else is going to eat the alligator?
Wait, you're going to the family reunion?
This girl right here, yes.
You're going to eat alligator?
Why not? I've eaten crocodile.
Oh.
We hunted on a 2,000-acre private reserve. Any more questions, call. So then I did have a question. I said, wait, so you catch it with a fishing pole?
Yeah, I'm confused.
Yes. Can't answer right now, but yes.
What?
She was busy.
No. I mean...
with a weighted treble hook, which is the hook that is double-sided, giving it 4 hooks total.
Okay.
That's why she was all bruised, I guess, because, it's an alligator.
No, I don't know. I still don't understand. You throw the hook at the alligator's, try to get into its mouth, like Hungry Hippo or something?
I think, like in the water, and it has bait on it, and then you catch it, and then you have to reel it in.
Oh.
Like you'd catch a shark.
Oh, you're fishing for it.
That's what I'm gathering. And then for some reason, I was imagining you shot it. Or
That's 100%.
I thought you would shoot it,
Yeah.
right? Because I'm like, well, obviously they have a lot of guns, so they're going to take their guns and go shoot these animals. But he might have even caught the boar with a bow and arrow, because my brother bow and arrow hunts a lot. I'm sure I'm going to be eating the boar as well.
So did she spear it then once you fish it out?
That I don't know.
Okay. Well, she said something about Oh, I see. Okay. All right. Well, now we have... The story will become clearer as the weeks go on. We'll get more and more
We'll get more updates. This is an ongoing story.
Love it.
With multiple updates. And I'm really I'm happy my brother has someone he can bond with.
They found each other.
They found each other.
Yeah.
It never crossed my mind that you would fish for an alligator.
Not in a million years is that how I thought.
And then someone's out there with camouflage and a fucking Crocodile Dundee knife.
Yeah.
I never thought
you'd fish for it.
Yeah.
What did she mean about the 15 months?
Oh, because they're going to have the hide of the alligator. They're going to have that like
dried out
to display, I guess. Like just like when my brother, he has deer heads, that he's caught over the years mounted in his basement, because when he catches a deer, he uses all of it.
Okay.
So he has deer steaks and deer jerky, and they eat it. They do eat all of it. It doesn't go to waste. But then the head is put on like display. Like, this is what I did. And so I think it's the same premise of like the hide will be used, unless she's like, oh, I'm going to have it made into a handbag. But I think it's more like it's going to be on the wall or something.
I gotcha. But the meat is going to last until you get there?
I think they'll probably freeze it.
Okay. When is this reunion?
August.
Oh, Jesus Christ. That's going to be some frostbitten alligator.
Well, they'll thaw it and then fry it or barbecue it, or I don't know. Maybe it's going to be jerky. I know that it's going to be served.
Do you think your kids will eat that?
Yeah, I think they'll try it.
Okay.
Are you going to tell them what it is?
Oh, I've already told them.
Oh, okay.
I told them it was I was like, this is happening, guys. And Benji's just excited because he's like, I want to go hunt.
Really?
He wants to so badly. He's so into fishing.
Oh yeah,
he's obsessed with fishing. So the next step for him is, can I go hunting with Uncle Mike? And
would you let him do that?
Not with guns, no. If he wanted to go like bow and arrow hunting, maybe.
Okay, yeah.
But I'm not into the hunting with guns. With I mean, let's put it this way: if it was just my brother and him, probably, because I think my brother's very safe and takes it very seriously. But like not a group. I'm too worried about other hunters.
No.
I'm not worried about my brother.
Yeah,
I'm just worried about...
No, I get it.
I'm worried. Guns make me really nervous. So that's the alligator update.
Wow, love it. We're on alligator watch. And I'm gonna get more and more details.
I hope when you go to that reunion, she comes out of the house and it's just...
She's wearing it.
She's got the head like a hat.
Yeah.
And it's just draped down her back.
I hope so too.
Like she walks out like a queen of the jungle.
The queen of the alligators. It's all I want, you guys. It's all I want.
Amazing.
Oh man.
The other thing I really want to talk to you guys about before we get into the topic, which is going to be really interesting, is I did watch the Murdoch Netflix documentary. Did you guys watch it?
Yes, I did.
Danielle, I was
working for 2 straight days.
It was the assignment. I only watched it because I thought you watched it.
I didn't have time. I was working.
You and your job.
The only thing I had time for was episode 3 of The Last of Us. That's the only thing I've watched.
Okay. Well, that's a real... Everybody...
I'm sorry. I do want to watch it.
Okay. You don't have to. When you watch it, we can talk about it.
Okay.
Because I had some thoughts I wanted to go over, but I'll save them.
Okay. I thought what we were all going to watch was Nope, because I said I watched Nope. And you said you might watch it.
That was going to be my plan after I got through the Murdoch murders, but it turns out I don't have enough hours in the day because, by the time the kids get to bed, it's like, well, we have an hour. Ooh, but I did watch a show that I think you guys should check out. It's on Netflix, I think, with, I don't know actors' names anymore because, I'm in the early stages of dementia. But the guy from The Good Place, the main character guy.
Chidi?
Yeah.
And another actress that you would know from, like, she was in Fargo and she was in Palm Springs, the movie.
Yes, I know exactly what show you're talking about.
She has dark hair.
Yeah.
She's been in a lot of stuff. Anyway, it's called The Resort. And it's a half an hour sort of mystery comedy.
I watched it.
You watched the whole thing?
Yeah.
Oh, I watched the first episode and I was interested.
Yeah. I think I talked about it on the show maybe, but maybe not. But yeah, I watched it.
You don't seem like you liked it that much.
I did not like where it ended up.
Got it. Well,
but you might.
I liked the first episode just because I was like, they're...
I mean, I watched the whole thing, so
they're on the honeymoon and there's a mystery and they don't seem like they're in a very good place in their marriage and...
Right.
Maybe this will help their marriage. I just found like, okay, this is sort of my sweet spot of stuff I like to watch where it's like, it's going to have some mystery elements, but it's also kind of funny and...
Yeah, it's like White Lotus light.
Yes.
Yeah.
Speaking of, sorry, I know we're going to get to the topic. We watched a couple episodes of the Eugene Levy travel show.
I didn't know he had a travel show. So
he has a travel show. I can't get over sort of how tone deaf it seems. I love Eugene Levy.
You mean like how
weird
privileged?
Yes,
or something?
It's like we watched the one where he goes to the Maldives or Maldives. And it's like this resort that's in the middle of the ocean. Like it's on a sandbar basically in the middle of nowhere because that's where the Maldives are, like in between Australia and Asia and Europe. And it's the whole theme of the resort is anything you want at any time, no matter what, where it's like the chef is like, yeah, sometime. Once somebody wanted this certain French butter for their toast and we had it the next day, we encourage people to order off the menu. Where it's like, this is exact, and it's super exclusive.
But isn't the point of those shows escapism? Isn't it like why we used to watch Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous?
Yes, but it just seems like, first of all, ecologically, it seems like the most egregious kind of resort where it's like, you shouldn't have a resort in the middle of the fucking ocean where it's like there shouldn't be anything there to begin with.
Right.
And also like, hey, we can ship a pat of butter from France in 24 hours. How good is this for the like
right.
And then also it's like, oh, you don't want to scuba dive? You want to golf? Well, we'll make sure we get golf balls for you that you can shoot out into the ocean.
Oh.
Like I mean they turned into fish food, so it's supposedly okay. It just seemed weird to be like, let's encourage this kind of gross, entitled behavior. And also in the time period when so many people have so little.
Yeah.
I guess it maybe is that thing where when people are struggling, they want to see this fantasy.
I mean, yeah, as someone who, can't afford those things, I don't take offense at it, but I understand what you're saying. I just look at it as like how you want to look at a palace or how like when we went to, San Simeon.
Yeah.
Like it's just fascinating to me. Yeah. It's kind of neat. I mean, he's not going from the viewpoint of this is what he does, right?
But it's also for me what sort of rang false is he's coming from the viewpoint of like, I'm just a regular guy and I don't like to be out of my comfort zone. And so all of this is making me uncomfortable because I have a lot of fears and anxieties. I don't like water. And in my head, I'm just like, you've been in multiple films. Like you aren't this.
But he might be. He might have those.
He might, but some of it rang a little false to me.
Okay, like it's an act.
And it's also hard. I was talking to Jessie about this and she was saying, which I thought was a really good point. It's not that fun to watch somebody not enjoy traveling.
No. Yeah.
Like to just be grumpy about being in a beautiful place.
Right.
Is like, you're somewhere wonderful and you're just like, oh, I don't know. Anyway.
What's it called again? The travel with.
I don't actually know I can't remember what it's called. Right. I love him.
Yeah.
So I really wanted to sort of root for the show, and maybe I'm just having a bad taste in my mouth about it.
Is it just him, or is
it's just him?
Okay, I would imagine like his son would go with him.
But his son would probably love it.
That would be fun.
That might be a fun contrast.
I would rather see that.
But yeah, I like to watch. Like, oh wow, look at that crazy place, and that's just this mansion, and I find it interesting. I completely understand why it would turn people off. I just find it, but yeah, you're right. It is gross.
I find it interesting that this guy who's extremely wealthy, I'm sure, is going from luxury to I'm going to get out of my comfort zone and just go somewhere ultra luxurious.
Right.
What do you?
Right.
What's so uncomfortable about this paradise that sounds like you're describing? It's weird.
It felt a little bit like, because he's like, oh, this is the best breakfast I've ever had, and this bed, it's so amazing, and I'm like, you've been in nice places. Like, this isn't that new to you.
Right.
Like,
but they're trying to make it so you can relate to him.
They're making him kind of the everyman, because he's like, cheeseburger. They made me a cheeseburger. That's my favorite meal. And I'm like, it might be, but you've also had foie gras. Like, let's not pretend. And I'm not saying he lives this 5-star life all the time, you know.
But he could.
But he's kind of like, I'm a simple Canadian. And I'm like, okay, but I know you've probably been to Cannes. Like, let's not pretend when you go to Cannes, you're staying at, like, you know, a Best Western, and you're just not getting room service. Like, it's just a weird.
I know, I get it.
Anyway, I love him, so my complaints might seem a little bit too bitchy. Yeah. Maybe I didn't get enough sleep last night.
Are we doing a segue?
Should we talk about our topic?
Yes.
Can you survive without sleep? And how long can we stay awake?
That's a good question.
I mean, I have to say, while I was researching this, I kept wanting to go to sleep. That's how suggestible I am. How easy it is to convince me that I should go to sleep. All right, let's talk about it. So at 24 hours, if you've pulled an all-nighter for some reason, maybe you're a student and you're studying for an exam, you have to prepare for a presentation at work. Aren't you so glad you don't have to do that?
Yes.
You don't have that kind of job?
Yes.
I mean, we prepare stuff for this job.
Yeah, but we're not up till all hours.
It's not, and it's fun, and it's not like we have to do some kind of, like, I don't know, PowerPoint showing like histograms. Oh my God.
What's a histogram?
It's a certain kind of graph, and I think it's boxes that go up like little chunky boxes.
Such a technical description.
Isn't that a bar graph?
Maybe. I know I've had to do histograms.
Really?
When I was
I've never. It sounds like
college.
something they used to give to women in the 1800s.
When they had hysteria?
Yeah.
They might have done that too. That was a different kind of histogram. Okay, so when you've gone 24 hours without even a nap, you're not going to be able to think as clearly. Your brain's going to work the same as someone with a blood alcohol content of 0.10, which is above the legal limit to be convicted of a DUI in all 50 states. So that's only 24 hours of no sleep.
Okay.
So you're already pretty messed up if you stay awake all night. One night. So here's what happens when you're 36 hours. Okay. So this is 36 waking hours is going to start to mess up your physical health. Repeated exposure to this bad habit can lead to cardiovascular disease, high blood pressure, hormone imbalances. You may experience complete memory lapses and not remember what happened during these hours. Okay, we're getting into 2 days no sleep. So 2 days of sleep deprivation results in something called microsleeps. So I know it sounds cute.
Yeah.
Oh, we have a microsleep. No, it's not. These are actually blackouts.
Whoa.
They can last from half a second to 30 seconds.
Oh my God.
You're losing time. You don't know what's even happening, but when you come to, you'll be like, what? What happened? And then maybe there's like a knife sticking out of someone.
Yeah, you never know.
You might have murdered somebody.
That's right.
Okay, you don't want to do that. Or maybe you do, Garen.
Hey.
It's a good defense anyway. You've got the science to back it up.
I mean, it might be a good defense for murder. I'm just throwing that out there. Here's some possible causes and symptoms. These were I'd never heard of some of this. Morvin's syndrome.
Okay.
Have you guys heard of Morvin's
No.
syndrome? Okay. Well, in some cases, sleep deprivation isn't a choice. No matter how much we want or need to rest, sometimes our bodies aren't allowing it. Here's a classic example, Morvin's syndrome. So people who have this medical disorder were studied. So they sleep very little. One particular case involved a man in France who went several months with barely a wink. Instead, he had periods of hallucination and pain in his extremities. Besides pain and sleeplessness, other symptoms of Morvin's syndrome include muscle twitching, sweating, and weight loss.
Huh.
So don't get it.
No.
If somebody's...
But literally no sleep for how many did you say? A month or months?
7 months.
Several months.
Several months.
Yeah. Here's another one.
How is that possible?
I mean, I don't even know, but...
And is the pain and hallucinations caused, and the sweating and the weight loss caused by the lack of sleep, or are they just other symptoms of this disease?
Caused by the lack of sleep.
Okay.
Fatal familial insomnia.
Okay.
This sounds worse because it has the word fatal in it.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say this is probably even worse than Morvin's. People with this can expect to die within 6 to 30 months.
Jesus Christ.
The extreme deprivation associated with FFI results in organ failure and degeneration of parts of the brain.
Oh my God.
Listen to this. This is wild. It's considered an infectious disease.
How?
It's in the same family as mad cow disease. You can't get it from casual touching or sexual intercourse, thank God, with someone who's infected. In order to catch FFI, you'd have to be in contact with the actual brain of someone with the disease.
What?
Don't go around touching people's brains.
What does it mean?
I mean, or receive a blood transfusion from tainted blood. So maybe you work in like you're an autopsy specialist and you touch brains, or what else are you doing that you're touching a human brain?
I can't think of anything else besides
you are a cannibal,
or you're a surgeon.
You're a surgeon.
Yeah.
You are an embalmer. You work in a mortician's office. Is the brain still there?
No, I mean, you're just making them pretty. I don't think you're touching brains in an embalming office.
Because the brain's already been taken out, maybe? I don't really know.
Do they take out your organs when they embalm you?
Well, did you donate your organs?
Right.
And is brain one of them? Do people, because brain transplants aren't happening, so you don't need to donate your brain unless it's for research.
Research, yeah.
So your brain is going to some what if you're a medical student?
Yeah, you
students.
You might want to research the brain of someone who has this. Yes, so you got to be careful.
Watch out! To get it. Hey, if you're a medical student, watch out for fatal familial insomnia. And you know what? If you're like a serial killer and you are into brains, you deserve to get this.
Yeah, because you don't want them sleeping. How can you sleep with what you've done anyway? You know, maybe they'll have it anyway. They'll have insomnia over guilt.
They probably sleep like
babies.
They sleep so good. They don't care. Okay, here's another one.
Yeah.
Sleep apnea.
Okay, right.
Up to 22 million Americans may be suffering from sleep apnea. This disorder occurs when your airway becomes blocked, reducing or eliminating airflow. People with this condition can wake up several times per night, causing severe sleep deprivation if left untreated. And it's pretty bad for your health. It's, I'm going to tell you how bad as soon as I can scroll down on my computer. Common causes include obesity, large tonsils, endocrine disorders, heart or kidney failure, genetic disorders, and premature birth. That's the causes of sleep apnea. Yeah. If you have this, it can also negatively affect the quality of rest that your partner gets. My husband has sleep apnea, so I know this.
He's not on a CPAP machine.
No, but he probably should be.
Yeah.
It's something I've been bothering him to get checked out, and he's like,
How do you know he has it?
Because he
wakes up.
He'll be like,
oh, okay.
Where he like he kind of chokes on his own breath while he sleeps. It's alarming to hear somebody like multiple times in the night like stop breathing.
I technically have it also. I went and did a sleep study where I slept at this place, and they say you're waking up 2,500 times or something. You don't realize you're waking up, but so they gave me a mouth guard. I was fitted for like a mouth, not a CPAP machine, but just a mouth guard to get the air going better.
Yes.
And it hurt, and I couldn't do it.
To wear the mouth guard.
Yeah, it hurt way too much. Something was digging in, and then I was like, I mean, I still have it. Maybe I'll try it again. But the reason I went was because I'm always tired, as I've explained throughout my life. And so I was like, well, what is it? So, supposedly it's, I'm not getting good quality sleep when I'm sleeping. So, I mean, it doesn't feel like I'm not, but obviously this is just normal for me that I'm always tired, and some people aren't always tired. So
I'm jealous of those people.
So you have it too.
Well, I'm always tired. I don't know that it's actually.
But I mean, you are always tired also.
Yes. I wonder if maybe your mouth guard is ill-fitting and you could have a new one made.
I think I looked into that, and I can't remember what happened because it was several years ago now. But I did see it the other day in my drawer, and I was like, maybe I should try it again.
Was it made like by a dentist, or is it made?
Yeah, like an ortho maxil surgeon or whatever they call it.
Okay.
But I think I threw out the bands that you wear with it, so that wouldn't work.
Well, maybe look into that.
I will, yeah.
Restless legs syndrome.
Yes.
This is a nervous system disorder, which I didn't know that. It creates uncontrollable urge to reposition your legs. It's accompanied by uncomfortable tingling and twitching, commonly described as pins and needles or a creepy crawly feeling.
Yes, I've had it. It's awful.
It's more common among middle-aged women, and it's estimated that it affects up to 10% of the population. So this can also affect your sleep. Garen, do you have restless leg syndrome?
I think I've felt something like that, but it's not something that happens.
And you've had it, but
often.
not like... It's not a constant thing for you, Danielle.
Yeah, I wouldn't say I had the syndrome. I've had that feeling of like your legs are like almost detached from your body and they don't feel good. This sort of reminds me, I don't know if you saw the video I put on Facebook. It's so corny, but I just think it's the cutest thing where it's like black and white footage of this woman's co-sleeping with her baby.
Oh, yes.
Did you see it?
No, I want to see it.
Her baby is repositioning himself constantly and ends up on her face, like constant. It's so funny.
Oh my God.
It's hysterical because it's like, why is the baby moving so much? But it's like a sped up, like all night thing. I'll make sure you see it because
I'll find
super
it.
Funny. Yeah.
I've noticed that can happen to me if I have too much caffeine.
Oh, the restless leg.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My husband has restless leg too, so he
sounds like a joy to share a bed with. Popsicle sticks.
Yeah, it's a lot happening in my bed that's not conducive to sleep. Here's another one. Night terrors.
Oh, for God's sake.
Children experience night terrors, which are unlike nightmares because they're more like a hallucination that can last anywhere from a few minutes up to 30 minutes.
Oh, shaggy.
I feel bad for the parents who have a child with 30-minute night terrors.
Wait, does that mean I always assumed night terrors meant they're waking up screaming. Is that what's happening?
The child is awake during the ordeal, though they often won't remember what they saw.
Yeah.
So they can just be like, their eyes are wide open, they're screaming and maybe flailing, and it's horrifying, I think. Luckily, my kids did not have this.
Oliver had a thing where it wasn't terrors, he wasn't scared, but he would wake up and like start talking. And a couple of times he actually sleptwalked.
Yeah.
It wasn't anything like dangerous. It didn't last that long, but we'd go in and we'd have like whole conversations with him.
Yeah.
And he had no memory of it in the morning.
That's really funny.
Yeah, it was pretty funny.
So, how long can you go without sleep? Well, there's no definitive answer, but most scientists agree that we all need the REM cycle to survive. There are cases of people who have sustained brain injuries that deprive them of this cycle.
Oh, shit.
They've been able to survive and even thrive, but the jury's still out on, how long people can go. So there is an anecdotal story of a young man in China who forced himself to stay awake and died after 11 days.
What?
But there were other factors involved. The problem with being able to test this surviving without sleep is it's an ethical dilemma. You can't put people through this.
Right.
To get an answer to it.
But they must have at some point.
Well, we have people who have done it on their own. So I'll share a story at the end. So how long will it take before you start hallucinating? While every person is different, on average, you can expect to start hallucinating after 72 hours after sleep deprivation. So, although it's tempting to try to trick your body to stay awake, it's not a good idea for your health. If you find that you need more time in the day and you genuinely want to cut out the amount of sleep, the amount of time you're in bed, you may want to try something like polyphasic sleep.
Okay.
This is where you nap for short bursts during a 24-hour period. This method has been found to increase productivity and the number of waking hours in the day, although its safety as a long-term habit is debated. I never believe it. Like when those people who are like, I don't know if Steve Jobs is one of them or Elon Musk, when they're like, I only sleep for 4 hours.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't believe it.
Yeah, you and I have had this discussion before. Yeah. I just took them at face value and thought that they were just superior beings in that one sense, not in any other sense, but just like this to me, I think because I'm always tired and because I always need a lot of sleep, that I look at it almost as like a failing.
Oh, like a moral failing?
Well, not moral, but I was going to say moral failing. It's not really a moral failing, but it is some sort of like a character flaw in me.
But I think,
so people who can get away with less sleep are somehow superior.
Better. Yeah. I don't think, though, the reality is you can't help it. It's like I used to cry to my therapist about how bad I felt about like sleeping in.
Wow.
Because I'd feel so bad as a parent.
Right.
And she was like, you cannot help this. Like, this is not something you're doing wrong.
Right.
It's like your body, some bodies need more sleep than other bodies. It's okay. Like, it took me a really long time. I still deal with the guilt about like, you can't help it.
Yeah.
It's just some bodies need more. But I also really think human bodies need at least 7 hours of sleep to function. It's like scientifically proven 7 to 9 hours is what adults need.
I remember the one thing that sticks out for me from ER, the show ER, is I think it was Carter and Green or whatever, but he's like, if you don't get at least 4 hours of sleep, you're better off not sleeping. It's either 3 hours or 4 hours.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
Because you're not recharging enough, and it's going to make you, the next day, you're not going to be able to function as a doctor, I guess, in an ER.
Yeah.
Don't take that as fact. That is a television show. But
no,
it never left my brain.
Memory
That's science. ER is science, and we're going to go down in history as saying it.
If there's a show to trust, it's probably ER, but don't.
Yeah.
Sleep deprivation is so bad for you. It's used as a form of torture. And they've even come out, and said that you shouldn't, it's such a bad form of torture, like we shouldn't do it.
Right.
Like the U.S. should stop it because it's that detrimental. Forcibly depriving a person of sleep is a profound assault on the entire biological system at the foundation of that person's mind and body.
You know what? I challenge someone to keep me awake. I don't think they can do it. I don't think the top CIA operatives could get me to stay awake. If I want to sleep, I sleep.
I mean,
how do they make you stay awake? They just blast music and pour cold water on you?
They do. They put people in standing up positions in handcuffs and feet cuffs to the point where their ankles would break from the cuffs. And blast loud music, and they do some rectal feeding.
Jesus Christ. Okay.
I was listing some of it, but it got so awful that I decided it wasn't going to be a good topic.
I just stopped at rectal feeding.
It gets worse after
breaking your ankles.
It gets worse after breaking your ankles and rectal feeding. Okay. So I decided maybe not for our show.
All right.
I love that Danielle's just defiantly falling asleep. You can do whatever you want to. I'm out.
I just, that's the only thing I have a strong will about is sleep.
Well, they say also, it's not a form of valid torture anyway, because when you're torturing, you're trying to get information from your sources to theoretically save like American lives, right? Well, here's what happens. Beyond 24 hours of deprivation, people suffer huge drops in cognitive functions like accurate memory, coherent speech, and social competence. People start suffering hallucinations. So whatever words they may seem to be saying have to count as the least reliable kind of information one could possibly conceive.
Right.
A mind tortured to that extremity will not provide anything that can be trusted as relevant to the real world. These aren't my words. I got these, from a reliable source that I'll put in our newsletter. ER, of course. Everything I talk about on this show is from ER. Even if the person really knew some vital bits of information, prolonged sleep deprivation will make it less likely the person could accurately and meaningfully communicate that information. So, it's why bother? Why are we doing this?
Right.
But, okay. Here's a couple tips. how you survive when you've had no sleep. Now, this is like you've had a night where you didn't get any sleep.
Okay.
So this is more reasonable of what we're going to experience.
Right.
None of us are trying to stay awake for 10 days.
No.
We're reasonable people. No one should do that. So you had a bad night. Maybe you have a new baby. Maybe you just had a night where you had too much caffeine. You couldn't sleep all night. Here's some tips. Sit by a window or step outside. Okay?
Yeah.
You want to get your sleep schedule back on track. Natural sunlight helps maintain circadian rhythms. Resist sugar, carbs, and processed foods. Skip the ultra-processed foods and beverages. You're going to crave those because when we're tired, we actually crave sugar and starch. But you want to have something healthier because a tired body doesn't need that stuff. Okay, but on that note, don't skip meals. That leads to glucose dips and increased moodiness. And we don't need some tired bitch. Power nap if you must. The greatest pressure to sleep is 4 a.m. and 4 p.m. So that's when you're going to feel the most tired. So like that 4 p.m. time of day. The best nap is simply 20 minutes of uninterrupted, comfortable sleep. No more, no less. If you're able to do that, my
God
hat's off
bless
to you because I've never been able to do that.
I tried it the other day.
Yeah.
Set my alarm for 20 minutes.
Yes.
Set my alarm for 15 more minutes.
Yes.
Snoozed that one.
Yeah.
Ended up to be about 40 minutes.
That's what
I couldn't do it.
No, I've never pulled off a 20-minute nap. So like I said, if you can do it.
Like I start falling asleep and I'm already agitated that I'm going to have to get up in 20 minutes. You know what I mean?
Sleep, it takes me that long just to
get comfy.
I don't know who's doing this. Stay active. Starting the day with your blood pumping is the best formula. It can be a walk or dancing around. Just move your body. I don't know who can do that if they have had a night of no sleep to be like, I can still work out when I wake up in the morning. Here's one more tip. Pause on big projects or decisions.
Yes.
That's not the day to decide if you're going to marry Fred or not.
Right. Fred can wait until you've gotten 8 hours.
Mm-hmm. Would you guys like to hear a story?
I would love to hear a story.
I'm wondering, you might have heard of this gentleman. His name is Peter Tripp. His name was Peter Tripp.
Okay, I have not heard of him.
Okay. You'll have to ask your dad if he's heard of him. Danielle.
Okay.
In 1959, 32-year-old popular radio personality Peter Tripp decided to stay awake for 8 days and nights as part of a publicity stunt aimed at raising money for the March of Dimes. Researchers and physicians warned Tripp against the idea, but Tripp was determined, and so on a cold January morning, he placed himself in a glass booth in the middle of Times Square so that people could observe him as he broadcast for 201 consecutive hours without sleep. Initially, Tripp coped well without sleep. His initial broadcasts during his experiment were entertaining, and he remained his usual cheerful and humorous self. By day 3, remember we said?
Yes. Hallucinations.
He was cursing the people around him.
Oh, no.
And hallucinating. He thought there were spiders in his shoes, for example, and he took them off to check. After about 100 hours of wakefulness, Tripp was no longer able to get through simple math problems or recite the alphabet. After 120 hours, he began having hallucinations. So,
he lasted longer.
I pulled from different sources, so this might repeat a little bit. He walked into a nearby hotel room to shower and change, and when he opened a chest of drawers for his clothes, he saw flames shooting out of the open drawer. At first, he thought that the scientist had set the fire, trying to prank him or make him drop out of the contest. Then he began believing the scientists were in a conspiracy against him and wanted to frame him for a crime. When one scientist, a stuffy dresser, came up to him, Tripp believed that the man was an undertaker coming to bury him and ran away into the street. I mean, it's really intense what it does to you.
It's like drugs, yeah.
During long periods of sleep deprivation, the brain begins going into REM sleep cycles while a person is still awake.
Oh.
Most of the time, the person will still be able to function, if only on a basic level. During the REM cycles, they will begin to dream while they are still conscious. Tripp was having normal, if unpleasant, dreams. He just wasn't having them in bed.
Oh my God, that's wild.
As time went by, the confusion took over his mind. He started staring at a clock, believing that he could see the face of a friend in it. He came to be doubtful as to whether he was Peter Tripp or was that friend. In the last few hours, he began confiding to scientists that although everyone believed he was Peter Tripp, he was not.
So wait, can we back up for 1 second? Because I'm a little confused. He's in the box in Times Square.
But he was only doing that broadcast for 3 hours a day, and then he would go to the hotel, and scientists were
So there were real scientists, not his hallucinations.
When he decided to do this, scientists were like, great, we're going to come observe, because they weren't ethically, scientists couldn't be like, we're going to make somebody stay awake.
Gotcha.
Even though surprisingly they didn't do that back in the 50s, since they did a lot of other kind of
that
ethically
is kind of surprising,
questionable things. So scientists then came in, right, and said, great, you're going to do that. We're going to come and watch. Okay. And they actually kind of helped him stay awake and took notes and watched his deterioration.
Okay, so the last 3 hours.
So Tripp did stay awake for 200 hours over 8 days of sleep, although he was drugged regularly for the last 66 hours of it, which I don't know if the scientists
to keep him awake
did that or if he decided to do that. I couldn't find information on that. And I don't know what the drugs were, if they were amphetamines. I mean, they were just giving out amphetamines like chiclets back then. After 24 hours of monitored sleep, he emerged apparently none the worse for the wear. Some say the experiment affected him permanently, citing the fact that soon afterwards he lost his job and his wife divorced him. Friends around him say he was never the same after that.
Whoa.
And then another thing that's interesting is that he was one of the radio hosts indicted in the payola scandal of 1960, which was actually before this.
I thought you said it was 1959.
It was, but the scandal happened before this, but they got indicted in 1960.
Gotcha. Okay.
So I'm sorry, for acts that had been committed well before the sleep study. Given the fact that he was hiding something criminal, it's interesting that Tripp was so paranoid about the scientists framing him for a crime.
Okay.
So yeah, that was like him and this guy Alan Freed, who was a very famous disc jockey. And I think the scandal, if you've heard of it, I didn't really know much about it, but it sounded familiar, was that they were taking money from record companies to play songs from those record companies.
Right. It sounds so benign.
It sounds really tame. Right now, you can't do that.
It seems like
the record's company's gonna give you money to play those songs, and
that seems like how radio probably should work.
That's not what happens. But they got in trouble for it, and then he really fell from grace, and then ended up becoming like a traveling salesman. And there's a documentary.
There is
that I don't know if it's. I don't know if it's any good or not, but it's linked in one of the articles, so I'll put it in the
about him.
Yeah, I'll put it in the newsletter. It might just be one of those weird YouTube, sort of like produced badly.
It sounds interesting,
but I just didn't have time to watch it, but I want to check it out because it's a fascinating story. I hope they're going to have footage of the Times Square actual study, just think it just brings to mind how like. Even if you think like, oh, I'm young and I'm going to do this and it's not going to affect me in that moment, it can really affect you for your life potentially. Yeah. So it's not something you want to screw around with.
God, that's crazy.
Get your sleep.
8 days.
8 days. It sounds like, the idea of even like, if somebody was like, you have to stay up all night.
Yeah.
I would hate that.
No, that would be torture.
I can't even, if somebody's like, we're gonna go out and we're gonna meet up at a bar at 10 o'clock. I'm like, no. And they would say like, you know who's gonna be there? Who
Keanu Reeves for you.
Yeah. I'd be like, 10?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. No.
Right.
Can you just tell him send me video? Is there any way you could text him and ask him to come earlier? I just think it's like, that's too late. I am so tired. No, thank you.
I don't like it.
So that's the story of Peter Tripp.
Oh, that's a really good. It sounds like he was on a trip.
He had a bad trip.
All right. Well, we will be right back with our special guest.
Imagine the softest sheets you've ever felt. Now imagine them getting even softer over time. That's what you'll feel with Boll & Branch's best-selling signature sheets in 100% organic cotton. In a recent customer survey, 96% replied that Boll & Branch sheets get softer with every wash. Start getting your best night's sleep in sheets that get softer and softer for years to come. Try their sheets with a 30-night guarantee. Plus, get 15% off with your first order at bollandbranch.com. Code WONDERY15. Exclusions apply. See site for details.
Canva presents your work horoscope for this week. Deadlines are in retrograde, which we all know can bring some intense energy. Our advice, fend off this forecast with Canva. Like Canva whiteboards, to counter creative blocks, and Canva Docs for clarity in communications. If you have any sales deals coming through, results will be in your favor with Canva presentations, manifesting many wins for you. It's a great week to love your work at canva.com.
Welcome back to How to Survive with Danielle and Kristine. Kristine, how was your break?
Oh, I got into some really inappropriate conversation with Garen.
All I heard was diarrhea. And then
and you're like, let's get back.
I'm good. So the first half of the show, we talked about sleep deprivation. And now we are going to talk about what happens when you fall asleep on the job with one of my favorite people. He's one of the funniest people I know, Mike Schmidt.
You're way too nice to me. Way too nice to me on both counts.
You know Mike from my wedding. And
True.
I'm going to have all the members of that. We had Paul Gilmartin last week.
Oh, good.
We've had Alex Alexander. Now you're the third member of the wedding who's been on our show.
I like it. Was I supposed to bring a gift again?
Yes,
I
because
did not
after
realize.
24 years, you're supposed to bring a gift again, or whatever. It's been something like that. And you know him from his podcast, 40-Year-Old Boy. Mm-hmm. And if once you hear his story, I'm sure you'll want to go check out 40-Year-Old Boy because he's a very good storyteller. No pressure. How's it going, Mike?
Good. How are you? Everything's good here at How to... I must say, I have to plug your show on my show all the time.
You do?
I do. Well, I mean, I do anyway. In my plugs,
oh my God.
I include all the Misfit toys.
Oh, that's so nice.
It fills 10 fucking minutes.
Thank you.
We're so flattered.
It's like all the shows get a shout out. But then there's always new shows being added that I didn't know about.
Too many shows.
Yeah, Jonah had a show and then he didn't anymore, but I'm still plugging it a year later. So, but your show, I change the name every week.
Oh, great. Thank
so
you.
it's always, watch out for that bear trap with Danielle and Kristine. Ouch, that's hot with Danielle and Kristine. So, but everybody knows who you are and where to find you.
This makes me laugh because I have a really bad memory, so I'm starting to turn into my parents and calling things the wrong names. So I was like, oh yeah, I'm in episode 2 of There's Some of Us Left. The Last of Us. That's not what it was called. But, by the way, update. I've watched all 3 episodes. The first 3 episodes. So I watched the episode.
Oh, wait. So all right. So you haven't seen the ensuing 5?
No. I've only watched 3.
All right.
I've only watched 3.
You watched the tearjerker.
I watched the tearjerker
right.
and the other jerker.
Yeah. Oh, well, there you go.
That seems like a different show.
Yeah. Well, they showed them smooching.
I played the game, so I was really looking forward to it.
Oh, you did?
I did, yeah.
Oh,
absolutely.
okay.
It's the best video game I've ever played.
Okay, so this is
right up there with a few great ones, but it's phenomenal.
All right, now this is interesting because I just finished reading Tomorrow, which was lent to me by Garen, which now Kristine's going to read, which is based on a video. I mean, it's not based on a video game. It's about video game makers.
Okay.
And I'm watching The Rest of Us Are Still Here, The Last of Us. We Still Remain, which is based on a video game. And so I was wondering, are video games because I do not play, are they actually emotional, like the way that they make it in Tomorrow? Okay, they are.
Yes.
That's why The Last of Us is the best game I ever played.
Okay, so it is like a real story. You feel like you're experiencing a story.
All right, I stream on Twitch, and I played it live on Twitch. I cried probably 4 times playing the game on Twitch. Now I'm a sap and I'm old, so that's judge it as you will. But clearly, I was playing. There's a moment. I don't want to give things away because I don't know if they'll put it in the TV show or not. It does. It's not a plot contrivance.
Okay.
It's just a moment where they wind up in a major city that's been overrun. Okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And just in that moment, I was overwhelmed by what was happening because there's this main character. Basically, his internal monologue, outside monologue.
Okay.
You just go, yeah. You kind of agree with what he's saying.
So I know I sound like I'm from another planet because I am when it comes to this. But I know that there are cutscenes. I understand what that is. Mm-hmm. Is that where that is happening? Or is it actually while you're playing, a monologue pops up?
No, you're playing and then it goes into cutscenes. But while you're playing, too, they're talking to one another. They're addressing one another. Yeah.
Okay.
And so in certain games, I mean, obviously some games aren't. But I mean, the best games like your God of War and The Last of Us, they wind up having discussions. And it's terrifying. Like the video game is terrifying as you're playing it because you are nonstop dread and danger, which is also a good name for your podcast.
Yes,
nonstop dread and danger. Danielle and Kristine. So it's just when you're playing it, you're just sitting there and you're agonizing over it because it's crazy, and then you do become you empathize with these characters so strongly, and you identify with them because you're them. You're controlling them. It's insane.
Can I ask a dumb question too? Because I'm very unaware of how these games work as well. Are you playing as, do you pick one character or do you control multiple characters? And because the show has many characters.
Right.
So you're the player, say by yourself, but maybe you're joining other players at other people's houses. So
I don't play online, so that gets rid of that. I don't play online. I don't want to deal with any fucking 11-year-old at his goddamn computer.
Yeah.
No, I tried.
You're the N-word or something.
Dude, right? No, that's not even a joke. It's like it's happened to me twice. I was on Twitch. I was on Twitch playing a game called Jackbox, where you let everybody play. It's like a game show. Like everybody plays along. Okay, so I decided to let people play. I'm like, we'll do this. Why not? Because you can't play Jackbox alone. So I played and I left it open where like 7 people joined in, but then there's 8 other people who can just type punchlines and have fun. Let's have fun, Danielle. Not kidding. Within 20 seconds, the N-word pops up, the C cunt, and all this.
It's the most lighthearted, fun family game.
Nope. Sounds
games.
And
really good time.
And you're watching it because I'm broadcasting live. So if they see that, you can be shut down. They'll take your channel away. But you don't know what's going on. So I'm going, wait, what's happening? Now I'm 80 years old. I can't stop why is the N-word box? Why won't it turn off? It's so dumb. And so I had to just stop the stream. I had to kill it.
Right.
And then reboot it. And everybody's like, you can't let the general public, there has to be a code. And so I had to do it. So
people are the worst.
But I played Red Dead Redemption, which is this great, fantastic cowboy game, right up there with Last of Us for games. And I played online once. Created a character, went online, and some dude rides up on his horse. Hey, man, you want to join us for a bank robbery? I'm like, of course I do. So I go with them, and he's watching me on the stream. So he's like, come with me.
But is he typing, hey, man, you want to join us? Is that how it works?
He sends his avatar, his guy, on a horse over.
Okay.
And he's like, that's me. In my chat room, he's like, that's me. Join me. We'll go rob a bank. I have a gang. We'll go do it. So I join up, and this guy is a guy who's come to the stream before. So I'm like, that's cool. So we go over and we rob a bank, and I'm not Joe Game. I mean, I'm playing I'm trying to make money, for Christ's sake. So I show up and I might shoot one guy. I don't get involved in all the blood and guts. We take the mailbag and we ride off. So we steal everything and we go off, and then these guys stop, and the two of the dudes who don't know me turn to me, and they just shoot me in the face. And I die, and I'm looking at it, and I go, and the guy in the stream goes, no! And I'm like, yes, no, I agree, because they can see me talk. So I go, what happened? He goes, they don't think you held up your end of the robbery. So they kill me, and then I regenerate. Right. And they're right there, and they shoot me again. And they do it 5 times. I die, I wake back up, and they're right there, and they would not let me get on a horse. They wouldn't let me even play.
They just thought it was funny.
Well, because they're watching it on the stream. And it's funny, sort of, for twice, maybe. But when they keep doing it, I'm just like, dude, fuck this. I'm leaving.
It's like driving your car a few inches ahead of the person trying to get in your car.
Oh, dude. And so I've never played online since. I played online once, and people will come in and go, hey, do you want to play online? I do not. I don't wish to be executed by shotgun by strangers again. So you can be in Last of Us. You're Joel, the main guy.
Yeah.
And, but in those games, there will be missions where they make you be Ellie.
Okay.
So that's like in this. Did you see that? Yeah, I can't do it. You didn't see the episode. But in certain times, you'll be in a thing where Joel does something, and then you like in God of War, you're the God of War. You're this big fucking guy named Kratos. But then you have to be his teenage son. And you're like, I don't want to be this fucking kid. He's got, because with Kratos, you get the blades of chaos. You got a huge axe. With his son, he's got a bow and arrow. Great. He's skipping around. And you're trying to do that. And so you got to be him for a whole segment. And you're like, this is awful.
Yeah.
Can I get back to being the muscle guy? But it has its purpose because you learn how to do certain things with that character later, which you will need. But yeah, so they do change you interchangeably. But The Last of Us, it's been 5 years, but I was Joel pretty much the entire time. Okay.
And the other characters are controlled by the game, and they speak. They're
not playable characters, they're NPCs.
Oh, NPC, look at you.
They read tomorrow. I think Oliver has actually told me that as well, but he doesn't play video games, but he knows this. He knows a little bit about everything, and he doesn't play it.
Dude, in The Last of Us, the clickers are in the game. The clickers show up in like episode 2, so you did see that.
Of course.
And they're the most terrifying monster I think I've ever seen in a video game. Besides, there's whatever. But in a game, in Resident Evil 2, there's this guy, I called him Skinless Jones. He's like a dude who just hangs from the ceiling he's just a ghoul with no skin.
God.
He also hides in the dark, and so you can't hear him at all. The first time he ever got me, I'm just, because you're in the dark and I'm terrified, and I'm walking, and then you put the flashlight up, and he's just like that, and he lands on me, and I jump, I freak out. It's awesome when you're playing them and they're fun and they're good. It's awesome.
All right. Well, speaking of scary things, let's get into this story.
Look at you with the pivot.
I know.
Very nicely done. All right. So when I moved to California a million years ago, the first time, it was like 1986. I wound up working at Little Caesars for a while because my brother, exactly.
Yeah.
My brother was the supervisor.
The brother I know, Lenny?
Yes.
Okay.
He was the area supervisor, and this was before we had a huge falling out. So, but we were always contentious growing up. You know what I mean? Because he was my older brother, and I didn't have a dad. My dad died very young. He bailed, and so Lenny was essentially my dad as well.
Wait, your dad died and bailed?
Same time. It was weird.
You mean he said, "I'm going to go out for a pack of cigarettes and got hit by a car"?
Good for him. That's the way it should work. You don't get to live your life if you bail on somebody. You got to take it in the face right when you split.
Honestly, I don't know. Did your dad die or did he bail?
Yeah. Let's do this.
No. Okay, it's all right.
No, my dad did die.
Oh.
But in the time he was around, he was a drunk and
He
a very,
wasn't really
very,
around.
very terrible, abusive person.
Oh, okay. All right.
To us and to my mom.
Oh.
So that was a good.
So good riddance.
Now you're learning a lot about me. You're probably like, now I understand Mike on a different level.
I knew your dad was gone. I just didn't know what the specifics were.
He drank himself to death. He died of alcohol poisoning the day before my 13th birthday.
Oh, fun times.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. You're a man now.
Have I ever really become a man without a father, Danielle?
Good question.
You know what? I got that another page over here. Let's talk about that story. So Lenny got forced into being, because there's 5 boys. And my mom, so she had to work. So and so we were home alone, and Lenny was our dad, in addition to me, my older brother. So it just was not fair to him. It took me 30 years to realize that.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, he wound up being kind of a supervisory figure for me in my life, even though he shouldn't have been, even though I got older. I got to be 17, 18, 19.
It makes sense.
So I would rebel against him like you would against a parent.
Okay.
But also at the same time, he helped me out. When I moved to L.A., he was here.
Okay.
That was the reason I came. He said, look, you can come here. You can live in my apartment. That's great. I'll get you a job at the pizza place. Because he had made something of himself to a certain extent.
Okay.
He was an area supervisor for Little Caesars. We were in Orange County, by the way. We lived in Tustin.
Oh, okay.
So he wound up in charge of like 9 different stores. And my brother's name is Leonard Albert Schmidt Jr. He on his business cards, he had L.A. Schmidt.
Oh, cute.
Nice.
Very cute.
Wore a blazer.
Except it's Orange County, so it's not.
Shh, stop your nonsense. That doesn't matter at 1 a.m. in a fucking Charlie. What the hell was that steak joint? What the hell was that place?
Oh, yeah, there's something about Charlie.
Right, yeah.
Charlie Steaks. I don't know.
Charlie Steaks. Sure.
That's what I call Charlie's Angels.
The Claim Jumper. That's what I was thinking of.
That just came up on Jimmy's show.
I've got the best
Did it really?
potato skins.
Yeah.
I took a date there once.
Classy.
Look, prime rib from the Claim Jumper. Let me tell you something. So he had whatever. So he gave me a job, which was great, but also in addition to being my older brother and also being kind of a father figure, he's now my boss.
All right.
Wow.
So we're butting heads on 3 different levels whenever I go there. Because also, look, he's taking it incredibly seriously because he's in tight with the brass. You know what I mean? He's got business cards.
Yeah, sure.
He's got a blazer with the sleeves pushed up. He's making his rounds. He's got paper. He has a fucking briefcase he brings to Little Caesars, okay? I'm not joking because it has all the paperwork. He has to collect the payroll. He's one of those dudes. He's he's an office guy.
He's corporate.
Exactly. He's corporate. That's a very good way to put it. And I'm wearing an apron.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And also under his direct supervision. So he then decides he's going to put me through the ringer because he can't show me any leniency.
Right.
So he then is 2 or 3 times as hard on me as he would be on anybody else. Now, I'm not saying I didn't deserve it.
Right.
Because once again, I was starting my lineage as a terrible employee. I mean, I had to be there at 9:30 to open them, to get prep work done. So we opened by 11:30. I'd roll in at like 10:20.
Oh, jeez.
I would not make new sandwich buns. I'd leave the ones from yesterday. Say, all right, those are fine. Nobody touch those.
I kind of like that from a non-wasteful point of view. You're not wasting food. You're using the food again.
Yes, but would you like it on the other side of the counter when I served you a 2-day-old sandwich?
I'm not ordering a sandwich at Little Caesars.
They were fucking great, believe it or not.
The pizza's disgusting. So
yes, I was 18. What do you want me to do? It was free.
I'm saying, are the sandwiches good? I've never had the sandwich from Little Caesars.
They're gone. They're stricken from the menu.
Oh, okay.
Probably because they were 2-day-old bread.
I like to think I had a hand in it. No doubt, Kristine. Clearly. So I would work at Little Caesars, and we would fight all the time. And he would come in, and he would literally, his first thing he'd check would be the sandwich buns. And then he's furious at me. And he would make, also I was his kind of Swiss Army knife. So if I worked a shift and then someone didn't come in, he'd be like, "You're staying till 9." And I'd be like, "No, I'm not. I'm really leaving." And he's like, "But the thing is, I lived with him. Where am I going to go?" So if I go to the house early, and then he shows up, he's like, "What the fuck, man? I fucking got you that gig." And then it turns into it was that.
It sounds like you were completely in the wrong in this situation.
Always.
Okay.
There's no doubt. I mean, again, clearly he was a boss.
Right. Yeah.
But he was in the wrong in that he let our personal relationship bleed into our professional relationship.
Okay.
Like I said, he would just say to me, "We have to stay." One day he came in and I wasn't doing very well at the job, I guess, in the morning. And he goes, "That's it." And he goes in and he takes all the dough that was in the walk-in and he throws it all away. And he's like, "You're making 12 batches of dough now."
Damn.
And he called somebody in to do the regular opening stuff, and he made me make all the dough and grind all this cheese and wash all the trays and then wash all the dishes.
Jesus. Okay. All right. So he's a little tyrannical.
Yeah. And I understood it, though, because he was also hypersensitive to his position, and they all loved him. My brother's a St. Bernard. Everybody fucking loves the guy.
Yeah.
And then I roll in, you know what I mean? It was horrible. Like the tin cans hanging off of a wedding car. Just awful. Just making noise and just useless. So he fires me 4 different times.
Okay.
I mean, it's terrible. And then he brings me back because, again, I live with him, so I need to pay the rent and have some money.
So bizarre.
It's a terrible, terrible arrangement. So finally, the 4th time he whacks me, and I'm like, I can't do it anymore. I have to find a different place to work.
Yeah.
So I didn't have a car. Clearly, I had not really buckled down. I'm driving his car everywhere. Mm-hmm. So I had to find something within walking distance. And look, I'm not fucking walking anywhere. You know what I mean? It's just, I'm wrong on 10 different levels, but that's fine. It turns out there's our local 7-Eleven is a block away.
Okay.
Block and a half, maybe. There's actually a liquor store closer, but it was a family-run operation. Don't think I didn't go in there first. You guys need anybody? And they had porn, which I liked.
Sure. A bonus.
So I went to the 7-Eleven and I applied for a job. And these people were nice. You know what I mean? They really, it was a Terry and Denise. They were independent owners. Uh-huh. And this is before, the 7-Elevens were owned by a predominantly a foreign because usually when you go into a 7-Eleven, it's owned by Indian people or things like that.
Yeah.
And it's just a great way for families like that to go ahead and get a business established quickly.
Yes.
Yeah. But back then, I happened, and Terry and Denise are from California.
Okay.
So it wasn't, and they were married, and for some reason they thought I was awesome. Because I was funny, and I was.
Well, you are very funny, so I can see it be charming if you're not your brother.
Exactly. Right. And. Until the 4th time and then they go, wait, this isn't as charming as I thought it was.
Terry and Denise.
They dug me. Terry and Denise liked me, and then Nancy was the relief. She was the morning person, and she had been there for 15 years.
Oh, okay.
She started when she was 18, so she was kind of grew up with them.
It's a lifer.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so now, but I'm also I'm only 18, so I'm being folded into their embrace now. Perhaps I'm the new Nancy.
Yes.
So they would actually take me out to eat and stuff, and they just really liked me outside of the job. Now I will tell you this too: I had moved to California, and
from
Chicago.
Oh, okay.
I'm sorry, I'm presumptuous. I lived in Chicago, born and raised.
Got it.
So I moved here, and it was an entirely new world. The beach.
Yeah.
And K-Rock. And I made friends, and consequently, because I made these friends. I didn't want to waste a minute of my day or my time. So I get hired at the 7-Eleven and I'm working graveyard.
Ew.
Okay, that's the graveyard shift, but it didn't bother me. It's ill to you. But I was at my house. I mean, I notoriously failed first and second period every year of high school because I stayed up all night watching Letterman and The New Treasure Hunt and whatever else was on. And then I would sleep.
Is that a game show?
It was, yeah, with Jeff Edwards.
I have to look that up.
Gotta look it up. It's so
We've
good.
probably watched it.
It's very much Deal or No Deal. With boxes and stuff and what could it be? And that's, it's great.
Okay.
So I would stay up all night and like eat macaroni and cheese at 4 a.m. and then just absolutely fucking sleep through first and second period in high school and failed them clearly.
Okay. It sounds like Lenny didn't do such a good job being your dad.
He was gone at that point because he had thrown a sectional at my mom, and then that was.
Oh, sexual couch.
Yeah.
For a second, I thought it was like a legal term.
Took it out of his briefcase. Here you go. Bam.
And now he has 2 briefcases because it's pizza.
Exactly. Right.
Yeah.
One's personal, one's professional.
Yeah.
So all right. So it was contentious in Chicago. That's one of the reasons where we also butt heads. We had fist fights in my house because my mom had thrown him out. Because he was rebelling against being everything. You know what I mean? He was constantly all that stuff.
Yeah.
And so then I took the role of my ma's bodyguard at the time. When my ma didn't want to take a swing at him, I did. And we would fight, and then he wound up... Lenny had his own apartment when he was 17 years old.
Oh, okay.
And it was one of those apartments... Truly, the lock didn't work on the window. All of his friends, you could open it, and he had one of those big industrial spools, wooden spools.
Yeah.
You could step in on that and just sit there and wait for Lenny to come home from work or whatever. And it was the greatest place if you're a kid. Now you'd be like, this is a fucking nightmare.
Yeah.
But cops would come and break it up, and they knew him by name and stuff like that. It was just, our hometown was a small town, so everybody knew. And just go to Lenny's. Hey, man, you knew you could just go to Lenny's. And then he and I would, I'd still be at his house. I'd still see him, but then we'd fight and knock heads. Then we made up when he went to L.A., blah, blah, blah. So
you liked the graveyard shift because you used to stay up all night.
I would stay up all night, but then I didn't want to waste a moment in the daytime, so I would not sleep.
Oh.
I wanted to go to the beach. I wanted to go shoot hoop in Venice. I wanted to hang out with my friends. So the way I worked it was I would have a 4-day block of graveyard. Okay. And I'd work graveyard, and then I'd stay up the whole day the next day. I'd probably get an hour and a half, 2 hours before work.
Wow.
And then I'd go graveyard, and then I'd stay up the next day, and I'd be up for 2 hours.
That's insane.
And again, I was 19 at the time, 18.
People
and so
always say that, but I couldn't have done that. There's no way.
Really?
No. I need 8 hours every night or I'm a disaster.
Really?
Yes.
Even from youth? Even from being young?
100%.
That's amazing
Yes.
to me.
I am not a party type person.
I love sleeping, and especially even more now. I really love it.
Yeah.
But it was never one of those things where I couldn't function without it. I was so used to just waking up and just almost like a Bugs Bunny, pulling up your eyelids and taping them to your forehead. That kind of deal. I was fine with that my whole youth.
I'm envious of people like that, but no.
Yeah. Well, I did it my whole life, and so it just, again, I was young and it didn't matter. I made my friends at the pizza joint. We'd go out, we'd hang out. And then after I bailed, they were still my friends, so I'd hang out with them. So on the 4th day, I would work my graveyard, and I would go home and I would stay up again. But I had 2 days off. So then that night I would sleep for 30 hours.
Oh my God.
That night.
I would just go to bed at 8. Whenever I felt all right, now I'm officially run down, I had nothing, I would crash and I would be gone for 24 to 30 hours.
Like the unhealthiest thing I've ever heard.
Look at me. I can't even believe I'm here to tell this story, but it was clearly, it was not good.
Okay.
But I'm unkillable.
I know.
So I would do that, and I got into a pattern with doing it, and everything was fine, hanging out, Terry and Denise, everything's great. And, so at the end of one of my 4-day jags, I'm home, and I'm literally getting ready to go to sleep. I'm kind of, I don't know how you respond to not having a lot of sleep. Poorly, we understand.
Very poorly.
But you feel like you're underwater.
Yes.
Like you kind of get this weird ethereal, almost floaty type of feeling. Like you're a human Enya song. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And so I'm tottering a little bit on my heels, and I would take a super hot shower because I love hot showers, and then just crash. So I get out of my hot shower, and I'm getting ready the phone rings. It's a landline, and I pick it up, and it's Terry. And he's like, hey, we had to fire Jason. I need you to come in.
Ooh.
And I went, Terry, man, I cannot.
Yeah.
I said, I am so gassed right now. It's ridiculous. I have been up for days, and he just goes, well, Mike, come on, man. You're my last hope. I don't want to be here all night. Please, just come over. And I said, Terry, I'm not kidding. I said, I kind of, you know how my schedule is. I was literally just about to lay down. Not joking, about to sleep. He goes, look, if you come in, I'll pay you double time today.
And
then we'll give you the next 2 days off paid.
Oh, wow. Okay, that's tempting.
And if you working at 7-Eleven, double time one night and the next 2 days off paid is easily $100.
How can you turn that down?
So I can't say no, right? I mean, we're into triple digits at that point.
Can't say none of that.
So I
figures.
said, I'm like, you know what? All right. Yeah, man, I'll do it. Sounds good. So I snap out, I slap myself in the face, and I'm like, all right, let's go. And I get dressed. And when I would go to work, because again, I could walk there, it was close. If I had to drive, I probably would have still stuck to no, because I couldn't even fucking, handle a car. But I can walk easily. It's a block. And when I would go to work every night, I would I was two-fisted. I had a boom box, a really big one, in my right hand. And in my left hand, I had my own briefcase of sorts. It was a gigantic cassette tape suitcase that was double-sided.
Yes.
So you could open it up, and it had like 70 cassettes on each side.
Why would you need this to go to work?
I remember those.
Right?
Yeah, yes. I remember them too.
Now, I had stolen this from a previous job.
With the tapes or just the container?
Oh, I stole probably 3/4 of the tapes easily. That's another story.
Yes.
So I would bring it because I wanted to have a selection of music. Like, I mean, look,
okay.
man,
They don't have a PA system in the 7-Eleven?
It's 1986.
I don't know.
1987.
They don't have any music. Okay.
No.
So you're like,
and even if they would, look, I need to stay awake. So I mean, I need to play some fucking metal. I'm not going to listen to any of this music to keep me up.
Okay.
The girl from Ipanema is not going to keep my eyes open unless she physically walks in.
Then.
So I bring the fucking tapes and I bring the radio and I walk in and Terry's just like, oh man, you're a lifesaver. I'm just like, yeah, all right, I'm glad to be here, sure. And it's an old school 7-Eleven. So when you walk in, there's like an island and a sink. It didn't have the plastic container with the cigarettes. All the cigarettes are underneath the register. Okay. So what I would do is I would just put my boombox on the sink and bring my tapes, behind the counter with me, and then that was it. So he bails. It's 10:30, I think.
In the morning or night?
PM.
Okay.
It's graveyard, yeah. So I'm there at 10:30, and I'm fine because again, when you're at a 7-Eleven for graveyard, first couple hours are kind of busy. You know what I mean? People are coming in and out. People are either coming home or they're going on their way out. The hard time is in the middle of the evening, in the middle of the shift.
Right.
So everybody's coming in and they're buying stuff, and it's fine. You're blazing. You're keeping coffee made. You're doing whatever you got to do. So probably, I think it was midnight. It kind of slows down. And I'm like, all right, I'm starting to feel it a little bit. And I'm chugging Slurpees. Like, I'm literally chugging Slurpees to get a brain freeze to keep me awake.
Right.
Coke, Slurpee, whatever, all of it. I don't drink coffee, so I'm just all sugar and caffeine. And finally, around midnight, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to go in the office. You know what I mean? I'll sit back there because you hear the bell. If it goes off, you come out and help anybody. And there's the video because you had a camera.
Yeah.
There's 2 cameras in the store. So I go in the back and I sit at the desk, and I look at the security camera, and then the bell rings. And I kind of open my eyes, and the guy's like, "Hey, Mike, what are you doing?" And I go, "What's up?" It's the guy who works at the gas station next door, who I would see if I worked during the day.
Right.
This guy, Greg. And I go, "Hey, Greg, what's happening?" He goes, you can't be sleeping back here, dude." I go, "I'm not sleeping. What are you talking about?" He goes, "No, you're sleeping. I just came back here. You're definitely sleeping." I'm like, I doubt it. So I get up.
That doesn't sound right.
No, it doesn't sound like me at all. I walk out and I look at the clock, and it's 12:25.
Okay.
I'd been asleep for 20 minutes.
Right.
In a blink.
Right.
Like, I'm not kidding. I put my head down, and then he woke me up. I had no idea where it went. It was that fucking fast. So I go out, and he stops. He has a soda with me and whatever, and we're talking. And then he's got to leave, and I'm like, "You should stick around. Why not? That'd be fine." What if you hung out for like 5 hours? Wouldn't that be great?
Just to get me away.
Right? Because I'm so my head's full of bees. It's like I'm just fucked up. So he's like, "No, man, I got to take off." But man, do not go in the back. Like that was like Danger City. I'm like, "No problem. I'm fine, dude. I wasn't even asleep. I was just back there. Whatever. Take care. See you tomorrow."
Just close my eyes. That's what my son says when we're watching a movie. No, my eyes were just closed. Okay. What happened the last 10 minutes?
Unfortunately, nobody comes into 7-Eleven to carry me up into my bedroom. So I go, so that's fine. So he leaves, and I drop the facade, and I'm like, dude, what the fuck just happened? Because I had lost 20 minutes instantly. So now I have to be more proactive. I can't just rely on chemicals to keep me awake. So I start playing music as loud as I can play it. Like, I turn the radio up.
It's like you're holding yourself hostage.
Yes, essentially, yeah. I'm my own Abu Ghraib.
Yes.
I'm just like, I'm torturing myself. I can't sleep, loud music.
You start waterboarding yourself with
Yes.
Slurpees.
Put a cigarette in my mouth with a thumbs up. Look at this guy. So I start to walk the store.
Yes.
I walk up and down the aisles, and I start kind of at a light jog. I throw in a light jog.
Great.
Around the island, and the way it works is the register's here, and facing out is like kind of groceries. It's kind of the same setup as most 7-Elevens, and behind me is all the coffee machines and stuff.
Okay.
And to the left are all the coolers, the soda, beer coolers and stuff. So now I'm out and I'm running around, and I have a broom and I'm sweeping, even though I'm not supposed to sweep, doesn't matter. But I'm also playing guitar with it, like air guitar. And I'm doing, they're called the Van Halen jump. Eddie Van Halen used to do this jump where he would split his legs like that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And so I'm doing it. I'm jumping up and down. I'm running around.
I think cheerleaders call it a herky.
Is it really?
Oh,
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, I think it
didn't
is
know that.
called a herky.
Yeah.
Oh man, not as cool anymore when Eddie did the herky.
Well,
Come on,
it's pretty cool when
it's
they do
still
it.
cool.
Yeah.
Well, he did make it cool, clearly.
Yeah, he did.
In his overalls of red and white. And so I'm jogging, I'm doing Van Halen jumps, I'm screaming, I'm yelling. Anybody who pulls in, I'm herkying all over the place. I have to say, and I stop, of course, when they walk in. And I'm like, how are you? And I'm very gregarious.
How are you?
What's going on? Yeah, because I'm at the bottom of a well. You know what I mean? So they come in, and I'm like, I help people. I'm doing whatever I got to do. And now my next plan is to stay awake until the newspapers show up.
Okay.
Because I loved, when the newspapers came in, because you know me, I used to read 5 newspapers a day. I was crazy. So I would read the LA Times, the LA Daily News, and the USA Today. I got them every single day. So, and the best part of it was the guy who delivered the newspapers he was this sad, crew-cutted man in just like a button shirt that wasn't tucked in, and just misery personified. And so he would come in, and then I would talk to him because I'm an idiot. I would be like, hello, sir, how are you today? Like so dumb, trying to get him to talk to me. Never talked to me the whole time I worked at 7-Eleven until one night I'm in there and my buddy Dennis Eggenberg is in there, and we're and I told him all along about this guy. So then the dude comes to deliver the papers. This is a good month into my tenure of seeing him 4 times a week. Never spoke to me. Comes in, he puts the papers up, and he's got them zip tied, and he's got to snap it with an X-Acto knife. And he comes in and I go, sir, how are you? Good to have you. It's late, but I'm glad that you're here. You've gone ahead and brightened up my evening by showing up. So I'm really pouring it on thick for Dennis.
Yes.
And I'm like, but put those anywhere you want. But I like them in the newspaper case. But do you want to hand me one? Great. Otherwise, I'll take one from the middle. I don't like to get the one on the top because the news has always been read out of the top copy. And I'm talking and talking. And then if he doesn't say a thing, and he's popping anything, and he goes to walk out, and I go, how are you today, by the way, sir? And he stops in his tracks, and he just goes, fucked.
Oh,
wow.
It's the only word the man said to me the entire time I worked at 7-Eleven. And I talk to him every night. Hey, man, what's going on? How you doing? What's up?
Terrifying.
Yeah, fucked.
that is so sad.
Yeah, and then
holy shit.
But he was just the ghost of Mike Schmidt future. You know what I mean? Just like this this pile of misery delivering newspapers in the middle of the night because his dreams died. Wearing ill-fitting clothing and just a secondhand car that's abused. Oh, it was a mess. I didn't know it then, though.
No, you were living the high life, screaming at the top of your lungs as you sweep to try to stay awake.
No doubt. So he comes in with the newspapers, same deal. I'm like, hey, sir, how are you? And I left the music on for him. I turned it off for customers, but for him, I was like, enjoy it, my friend. He doesn't say a fucking word. He puts the newspapers up. So I'm like, all right, should I read the LA Times? And I go, no, I'm going to read the USA Today because I get that's national. That'll keep me involved. I don't want local news. That's not going to keep me awake. So I grab the USA Today, and it's at the time it's 1:45. Okay. And
man, you got a long way to go.
Right?
I'm really stressed out.
I'm halfway through the night, and again at 2. But again, it's all. I got to make coffee, and then at 2:00 I got to lock the beer coolers, and then at 3:00 this person comes. It's all. Then the morning crowd starts to come in for their coffee.
Right. So you're breaking it up.
Exactly, and I figure at 1:45. All right, I'll just go. I'll read the USA Today, and I'm fine.
Lots of pie charts to look at.
Sure, I get the daily news. So I go and look. I set up the newspaper, and I sit down at the desk, and I'm reading the USA Today. And then, like I said, it's 1:45, the bell goes off. And I'm like, oh, all right. So I get out of the chair, I go out there, and there's a guy, he's getting coffee. I go, hey, sir, how you doing? And he goes, good. And I come around the corner, and my radio, my boombox, is by the doors.
Okay.
It's on the ground. It's no longer by the sink. It's by the double doors.
Okay.
I'm like, well, that's strange.
Yeah.
Why does? But again, I'm so foggy. I don't.
Right.
I just go, well, that's odd. Why does that? All right. And I pick it up and I put it back in the sink, and I go, and this poor guy's getting coffee that I made 2 hours ago. You know what I mean? And I'm like, oh, Christ, I got to make some. I go, how's the coffee? Is it all right? He goes, oh, we're good. And so I go over and I put some more coffee on, and he comes around and he puts his coffee cup on the desk, and it was like 40 cents because this is for 38 years ago. And I go, terrific. And I ring up the thing, and a drawer opens, and it's empty.
Holy shit.
And
what year was it now?
Right. So I don't even know what face I made. I just this rictus of terror because it just opens. I'm like, and he's like, everything okay? And I'm like, no, of course not. Please get the fuck out of here before you see what happened. I don't. You know, literally, I go, no, everything's great. Ha ha. And I take his 40 cents and he takes his coffee and he leaves. And I put the money in and I close the drawer. And I'm like, what the fuck is? And I look up. And the beer cooler is empty.
Oh, shit.
Ooh.
Empty. So I immediately locked the beer cooler.
That's thinking on your feet.
Clearly, there's a poltergeist or some sort of spirit who has taken the liquor away from this, and I have to trap him inside. So I go over and impotently lock the beer coolers. And I go back behind the counter, and I look at the clock, and it is 2:55 a.m.
Oh, shit.
I've been asleep for an hour and 10 minutes.
Oh, God.
So I don't know. I call Nancy because she essentially runs the store. Terry and Denise own it, but Nancy runs the place.
Okay.
So I call her up, and I'm like, and she answers, and she's because she sleeps like a human being.
Right.
Huh? I go, hey, Nancy, it's Mike. Oh, is everything okay? Nancy, I got robbed. Oh my God, are you okay?
Well, I'm a little sleepy, but
yeah. She goes, oh, well, did you call the cops yet? Did you see the guys who did it? Did they hurt you? Did they have a weapon? No. She goes, all right, we'll call the cops. I'm on my way. I'll call Terry. We'll be right over there. I said, cool. And I hang up. And now I don't know what to say. I don't know what's going to happen.
Right.
Yeah.
Cops are there instantly. I mean, it's crazy. Nancy gets there and then Terry. So they're all there in like 10 minutes. So Terry's like, are you okay? What happened? And I said, I honestly, it's kind of a blur, really, at this point.
it was kind of like a dream.
Yeah.
Because I was sleeping.
He says,
it's a blur.
And the cops are like, well, all right, well, what, did you see the guys? I go, not really. And Terry goes, well, we've got the security tapes.
Right.
He goes, maybe we'll probably see them on the security tapes. It'll be fine. We'll be able to check it out. I go, okay, great.
Oh.
So Nancy's like, well, I'll hold down the fort. You guys go in the back. He goes, great. So all four of us go in the back. And they they get the tape, and he takes them out, and he rewinds it, the one from behind the register. And he's like, all right. He starts it. And the cops are asking me questions, and I said, honestly, I don't know. I don't have any real answers. It all happened so fast.
Obviously, your impetus at this point was, or your reasoning was, I don't want to get fired, so I'm not telling them I'm asleep. Even though you're standing right in front of the videotape, which is about to show that you were asleep.
Yes, but also at the same time, there's anything I say is going to sound stupid.
Okay.
I mean, even the truth sounds stupid, and I can't. I mean, I have to tell them the truth, but there's no, because in your brain, look, after 18 years of living without parental supervision, you're pretty good at coming up with stories pretty quickly. Okay. So my wheels are spinning, and I got fucking nothing.
Right. And you're also still sleep deprived.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And also, I didn't take into account the security tape. Truthfully, it's a good thing I didn't lie before he mentioned the security tape, because it would have been awful. Right. So we go in the back, and they throw the tape on, and he starts it at 10, and we get there, and I show up, and also I should say my hair, like at this time, I'm heavier than I've ever been for then. My hair is like really big. It's a huge nest. I look like the newspaper dude. So they start showing it, and you see me, helping people and working and stuff, and then you see me disappear at midnight.
The first time when you get in the back, right?
And his time's still running, and Terry just looks at me, and he's like, what are you doing there? I go, I'm probably sweeping up over by the coffee and stuff. And he goes, it's 20 minutes. And then the gas station guy comes in. And then you see us both kind of walk out, and me talking to him and basically, begging him to stay. And he's kind of fast forwarding, but he's also stopping. You know what I mean? So he's fast forwarding. It's going. So then when the gas station guy leaves, he hits fast forward, and you see me put my head in my hands, and then you see me just slap myself as hard as I can. Oh my God. And then I turn the radio up, and it's all fast motion. I just run. You just see me running. I have a broom. I'm doing guitar. I'm doing Van Halen jumps in fast motion like a Benny Hill sketch, up and down the aisles and everything. And the funny thing is, like, they don't laugh. Like, because I think, I'm watching like, that's kind of stupid and funny. But the cops are fascinated at this point. They're just watching, like, what is this? Like what's happening?
Fight Club, when you reveal that there's no one else
right.
there.
I'm my own Tyler Durden. That's it. He's not there. So, and even Terry's watching it like, what the fuck? And I wanted, I wish I could have laughed. So I'm running, I'm jumping. Van Halen jumps, helping customers, turning stuff up. Newspaper guy, turn the music up. And then at 1:45, I take the USA Today and I disappear.
Oh no!
I mean, you see on camera that you're sleeping.
I'm gone. I'm off. There's no camera in the office.
You're not on the camera anymore.
Exactly.
Wait. You went into the office?
Yeah.
I thought you took the newspaper and were reading it at the counter.
Wouldn't that have been a smart idea?
Wait a second. Why did you go back to the office?
Because I can control this thing, Danielle.
Oh, this whole time I thought you fell asleep at the counter.
No, ma'am. That's why I'm saying I went. No, are you kidding me? Jesus, that would have been horrendous.
Well, that's what I was picturing.
I'm sorry.
The guy is slowly creeping by you, opening the drawer while you sleep. You know, cartoon snores.
Well, as we'll hear, they didn't need to do that.
Oh, okay.
I went. So I did. When I took the newspaper, I went in the back.
Oh, okay.
Like a civilized person. I sat at the desk to read my newspaper.
Okay.
And that's why I'm saying when I heard the bell and was like, oh, okay, it's time to go out there. I walked outside.
And it was the second guy.
Yeah, it was the second guy, or at least I thought it was the second guy.
Oh, okay.
So I'm running around, jumping around, and I take the newspaper and I disappear. And then a guy comes in, and he takes a Coke, and he walks up to the counter, and then he grabs a candy bar, he puts it down there, and he waits. He waits, he kind of looks around, he waits about a minute, and then he just puts his money down on the counter, and he splits it, and another guy walks in.
So those bells you don't hear?
No.
Okay.
No, I don't hear those.
Because he's sound asleep.
Yes. Mm-hmm. And this second guy comes in, and he grabs a case of beer because it's closing time. It's 2 in the morning. He's trying to get a beer real quick. So he grabs a case of beer, and he puts it on the counter. And he waits.
Oh.
And he waits. And you can even see him go, hey!
Oh.
And he doesn't see anybody come out. So not only does he take the beer, he takes the money the guy left behind for his Coke and his candy bar.
Wow.
He splits. 5 minutes later, same guy comes in with his friend.
Oh, no.
Friend goes around the corner, so he goes to the office. So he's got eyes on me, and then he realizes the coast is clear because then the second guy...
Wait, did he open the door to the office?
I didn't close the door to the office.
Oh, so he's just looking in.
It's just in the back.
And he sees you asleep. Okay.
Yeah. So he's got eyes on me.
Uh-huh.
And the second guy, obviously he yells to him, and the second guy goes behind the counter to the safe. Now, the safe is it's like a time lock. You know what? I'm actually forgetting. They came in, he came back in by himself and opened the register, took all the money.
Oh, okay.
And then split.
Okay.
Then he came back in with his friend.
Okay.
So this is now the third time he's come in.
Ballsy.
He goes back by the safe. Safe's time release. You got to push a button on it for 20s, and then you put the change in. It's to make sure you don't have too much money in your drawer.
Okay.
So you put the money in a thing, and you slide it in the machine, and then the money comes out. Well, he's trying to push the buttons, and nothing's happening.
All right.
So he keeps hitting it, and nothing's happening. So then he sits down on the ground to try to figure out how to open the safe on the bottom where there's a door. And thankfully for me, he moves my double-sided suitcase of cassettes out of the way to get to the safe, because I could not have handled it if he had taken those. So he's trying to get into the safe, and he can't. And then he starts pulling on the door, and he looks around, and he sees a hammer.
Oh, shit.
Underneath the sink. He takes the hammer out, and he just starts banging on the fucking safe.
Wow! He's banging with a hammer?
He's banging with a hammer on a metal safe, and I'm in the back taking a fucking nap. I am so out of it. I don't hear this guy banging on the fucking safe.
You're unconscious.
I'm comatose at this point.
All right, so let's go back to the moment where you're watching this with the cops and your boss. What are they saying to you? Is everyone just mouths open?
Is everyone just staring and not making eye contact at this point?
Well, I can't see much of anything because of the smoke coming out of Terry's ears. He's looking at the TV and he's watching it, and they've stopped the fast forward, so you're seeing and you're hearing the guy bang, so you're hearing the gong.
There's sound.
Yeah.
Oh, there's sound.
Oh my God.
And the cops are, again, as I've said, fascinated. Like, they're not laughing or, oh, ho, ho. They can't believe it's happening. And again, you can see these guys clearly. Like, I mean, that's the good news is we're going to catch them because they're in here 3 fucking times stripping this place for parts. Yeah. So he's banging on the safe. It doesn't open. So he's sitting on it. Again, crisscross applesauce.
Oh my God.
And then he just kind of sits back and he looks over. And like I said, we didn't have that plastic thing for cigarettes above the counter. Mm-hmm. We kept them under the counter on shelves.
Yeah.
And when they were all in the back, so we would take a giant box and we would fill them with cigarettes and we had to fill the bottom shelves. He turns around and he just sees all the cigarettes. And then he sees the giant box that we use. So now this guy's got fucking luggage. So he pulls it out and he just sweeps all of the cigarettes in the store that are and he just sweeps them all into the box. And he gets up and he goes back out to the car. Comes in a 4th time.
Oh my God.
Now he yells to the guy in the back because apparently they're so comfortable with the amount of REM sleep that I'm in.
You're in deep REM.
They have a 2-handed operation and he needs him to get involved.
Get the hammer.
So he calls him and he walks up and they start talking and then they disappear and then they just start carrying liquor out to the car. Right. It's like a conga line of just beer. And they come back in, bang, ching, and they're doing it, and the bell's going off every time. I don't hear a goddamn thing.
Oh,
all this beer,
gosh.
They got it. They're loaded up, 2 cases, 3 cases, all of it. All the wine, they took all of it. They cleared it out. I mean, it's.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
They're still going through that liquor today.
No kidding, right? They got a car outside, so the doors are open. They're just filling it with everything. You can kind of only, that camera, you can see through the door where they're out there working. Okay. They come in a 5th time. And they walk in, and they have the box that had been previously filled with cigarettes, but now is ready for whatever larceny they can imagine. And they actually take a couple steps in, and they stop, and they look confused, as if to say, "What else is there to steal in this place? Like, what could we possibly?"
Grandmother's cookies.
And like their heads kind of tilt, and they talk, and they actually have time to get a strategy.
Yeah.
And then they walk, and they kind of disappear off camera, and then you see them kind of periodically, and then as they walk, they have all of the Hostess cakes, all of the
wow,
like all of the donuts, all of the cake. That whole rack is completely emptied into the box and into their arms, and they go to carry it outside of the car.
They're like, we could start a small business.
Right.
Yeah, they could start their own 7-Eleven.
Yeah.
And again, I don't know what else a stoner could possibly want in this store. So they do it, and they load the car. So now they get the cigarettes, they got the lottery tickets, they got the money. When they opened the drawer, they took all of it. They took all of it.
Oh no!
They got absolutely everything, and
and you didn't even notice right away.
They come back in a 6th time.
Oh my God, Mike! Are they going to take you? Take your shoes?
They might. That's exactly what I was like. They might as well just take my shirt at this point. So when I wake, I'm like, huh? Look what happened to me! I mean, why wouldn't you draw a mustache on me? Anything at that point. And they come in the 6th time, and the dude grabs my radio. And he puts it down by the doors, and the other guy goes again and takes the hammer to go to the safe.
Again.
And then headlights pull into the parking lot.
Oh. Okay.
And he jumps the counter and the other guy, and they run out. And the dude who bought the coffee comes in.
That's why the radio is still there.
He gets his coffee, and the bell I heard was them running out.
Oh,
because then I waddle out of the fucking back, bleary-eyed, like, what's going on out here? Rubbing my eyes. And the dude gets his coffee, and we're like, make a little small talk. And I think I mentioned earlier, I don't even want to know what my face looked like when the register opened. Luckily, I was able to see exactly what my face looked like, because I open it, and the drawer opens, and I stare, and I go, like just... like Edward Munch painted me at a convenience store. Just, And I paid, and then you just see me pondering, and now the cops are laughing. Like they're hiding their faces. And Terry, he
wasn't laughing?
Silent, just jawed and staring. And he stops the tape.
Well, because you know what I'm wondering? Sorry to interrupt your story. It's so good. I'm wondering if the whole time they're thinking that maybe you were in on it on some way. They didn't know. Like they could have thought this kid is maybe letting his friends come in. Like the cops don't know. They could be thinking he's like these are his friends and he's like agreed to go in the back while they come in and rob the store. But now they see clearly.
Oh yeah, no doubt. I think any thoughts the police had of doing any sort of regular police work on this case had gone out the window.
Along with the beer.
As they watch this unbelievable videotape.
They can't wait to tell everyone back at the precinct the thing they just saw is the best thing they've ever seen.
And the tape stops, and then there's just this beat where I'm in the chair and I'm looking, and they all three they all three just turn their head to me slowly and look at me in the chair. And what do you say?
Right.
I wish I had the balls to laugh. You know what I mean? I wish I would have just had the balls to just go, who's this idiot? That's me! But I looked at Terry, and in my best 18 years of making excuses for whatever, all of my behavior, I went, you really shouldn't have brought me in on a day when I hadn't had any sleep. I did.
Yes.
I did mention that when you called.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Right. I think that's the perfect thing to say.
Well, what else do you say? Again, I have nothing else to say.
He really should have listened to you.
Because I liked him. I liked him and his wife. I enjoyed them as people, and I did not. So
what does he say to that?
He goes, "Go home."
Oh shit.
I said, I guess I'm fired. And he goes, "Go home. We'll talk tomorrow. We'll figure it out tomorrow." Just go. And I go, all right, but
you collect your tapes.
I'm sorry. No doubt. That's it. And
the only thing they didn't steal was your stuff.
That's it. I got out free and clear. The one thing they didn't take was my thing. And I walked out front, and Nancy goes, all right, did you tell them what's up? And I'm like, oh yeah, they know what's up. And I walk out, and I go
Nancy
home.
didn't know at this point.
No,
what
Nancy's
happened.
She's working the front selling coffee. Has no idea that I've brought down a small business. And I go home and I crash for only like 18 hours. And then Terry calls me, and he had called like 4 times, but he wanted to talk to me. He didn't want to leave it on the machine.
Right.
And he fired me over the phone because he didn't want to see my face, probably, I would imagine. And then the best part of it is I talked to Nancy because I still was kind of friends with her, and the whole thing's covered by insurance.
I was going to ask. Okay, good.
Except in the case of clerk negligence.
Oh, shit.
So because there's videotape evidence of the clerk falling asleep and unmanning his post, they were out of pocket for the entire enterprise.
Oh, shit.
So they had to pay for everything. And there was this beacon of hope. Nancy's like, they took the lottery tickets. And we would write whenever you brought out a new pack of scratchers, you would have to write the beginning and ending number in case of fraud later.
Yeah.
So if they somehow in their sugar and beer coma over the next 3 fucking days won a scratcher and turned it in, they would be able to have the number and they would trace it to those guys. And I quite frankly never knew if that happened because I talked to Nancy once again and then never talked to her. I was so embarrassed about what had happened and started making plans to move quickly because again, now I'm home. What am I going to go back to Little Caesars and work?
Oh my God.
I wasn't going to get out of the gig. And so I wound up bailing and I moved to Tahoe like a month later.
Jesus Christ. Yeah. That's fucking amazing. That story is crazy. I really feel bad for them, but
I did too.
I hope they did turn in one of those lottery tickets and they got busted.
And they got pinched?
Yeah.
See,
they had their faces, like you said. They had their faces on
that's
tape.
what I mean.
These aren't criminal masterminds. They just lucked into...
They didn't have to be.
No. They just fell into an opportunity. Right? I mean, clearly they were already people who probably were thieves because it's not like just you or I would walk into a 7-Eleven and be like, oh, he's sleeping, we should steal everything. I think you already have to have a propensity.
I mean, maybe you take the case that you were going to buy for free, but that's about it.
I respect them coming back in. I got to be honest. Like within 5 minutes, they decided, let's clean this fucking joint out. You know what I mean? Because they had malice in their heart. There's no doubt about it.
Sure. No, they're asshole children, kids, whatever. What were you going to say, Garen?
Have you ever tried to see if that tape still exists?
Yes. Yeah, because I will say this, it's the only benefit I would think for Terry and Denise is how many fucking parties did they show that tape at to everybody who came by.
I don't know. They might not have had a sense of humor about it.
I don't know. Denise might have. She was nice. But I mean, but Terry, he was furious. But I mean, they had to show that at least once at a party and go, you're not going to fucking believe this.
Oh my God, Mike.
Yeah, because I've had a few things like that. Like I one time on Highland, I beat up a car. I was
with your fists?
Yeah.
What do you mean? Okay, we don't have time for this.
Walking street.
I'll just tell you real fast. Like these guys in this small, like they started fucking yelling, and so I went over, and I was on my way to do my podcast, and I was in my car. I got out, and I just started. I mean, I punched their mirror off. I was elbowing their windows, trying to come out. You want to talk shit? Knee in the car.
Mike is, for those who don't know, Mike is a very big, intimidating looking guy, even though he's a sweetheart. But
I used to be.
You're a big dude.
Well, this is like 15, or 12 years ago.
Okay.
And then it was funny because then when I finished, I turned around and everybody's holding phones. And so I have looked, and it's never wound
amazing.
up. Shocking, right? I thought for sure it would have. But it was a little phone. It was 12 years ago, so it's before the great phones came out. But yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So
I wonder if
you can't just beat up a car anymore.
No, it's not. It's
like you used to.
Nanny state.
Yeah.
Can't beat up a car anymore.
Because if they actually did an investigation, they might, the station might, I guess it's been 30 years, they probably got rid of it, but just imagine there's like a box and that tape is like a holy grail.
This could be one of those mystery podcasts to find those guys and what they're up to now.
Find
they
that
follow
tape.
you, they follow them. I'd listen to it.
Which is why I changed
too.
their names.
Oh.
I want to see that. I want to see that tape.
Yeah, I do too. I really want to see it and fast forward and then it's just you're sleeping.
I want to see the Herkies.
I want to see the
I'll do one for you before I split.
Oh my God.
Not what I used to be, but I can pull one off probably. Yeah.
That was such a good story.
That was amazing, Mike. Thank you so much for coming on.
Well,
thank you for regaling us with these hysterical. Oh my Lord!
And I mean, really, you cannot deprive yourself of sleep if there's one lesson in this story.
This is what I would have done all that shit if I were on 6 hours.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I'm that much of a mess. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
And we will be right back with what did we learn today?
Make this new school year an opportunity for your kids to learn important life skills with Greenlight. Greenlight is a debit card and money app for families, where kids learn how to save, invest, and spend wisely, while parents keep an eye on kids' money habits. Greenlight also helps families get into their fall routine with a chores feature that lets parents assign chores and pay kids' allowance when they check them off. Get your first month free at greenlight.com/Wondery. Greenlight.com/Wondery.
This episode is sponsored by AutoTrader. There's a good chance you're driving right now. Look around. Safely. What do you see? Cars. Lots of them. And guess what? They're probably on AutoTrader. Whether you're into timeless classics or the latest trends. Did somebody say solar-powered, eco-friendly, vegan, leather-wrapped, aromatherapy-scented, disco ball-equipped, self-driving car? If you see it on the road, you can likely find it on AutoTrader. Big cars, small cars, blue cars, new cars, used cars, electric cars, and one day, maybe even flying cars. With millions to choose from, buying a car becomes a whole lot easier. See it, find it, AutoTrader. Find your next car on autotrader.com.
Danielle.
Kristine.
Are you ready to learn what we learned today?
So ready.
Tattoos and chopped hair. I'm entering my new era. Everyone goes through the tattoo and college tour phase.
It's a rite of passage.
Yep.
Severance was created by Dan Erickson.
Yes.
The use of a hook and line is the most common method to catch alligators. It involves securing a sturdy hook and line to a tree or pole in the ground. The hook is commonly baited with fish or chicken quarter. After the bait is taken, the hunter returns to draw in and dispatch the gator.
But they don't say how. I think it's with a staff or like a, I don't know. I think it's something with
Dealer's choice, maybe?
Dealer's choice, yeah.
I'll get more information. The Resort is a Netflix series about Emma and Noah, a couple that's become complacent in their relationship, celebrating their 10-year anniversary in Mexico. The all-inclusive vacation takes a wild turn after Emma finds an old cell phone in the jungle. Watch it or don't watch it. Eugene Levy's show is called The Reluctant Traveler. The 8-episode series follows Levy as he visits some of the world's most beautiful, intriguing destinations in Costa Rica, Finland, Italy, Japan, Maldives, Portugal, South Africa, and the United States, exploring remarkable hotels and the places and cultures surrounding them.
Okay. I think I might check it out.
Check it out. Let me know what you think.
Did we say what it was on?
It's a streaming service.
It's Netflix.
Netflix. Okay.
A histogram is a graphical representation of data points organized into user-specified ranges. Similar in appearance to a bar graph, the histogram condenses a data series into an easily interpreted visual by taking many data points and grouping them into logical ranges or bins.
Holy ghost, that's a lot.
Would you like a definition of what that was? All of that?
No, I'm good.
I think she's asleep now.
Yeah.
One of the most common questions people have about embalming is whether or not organs are removed. The answer is no. All of the organs remain in the body during the embalming process. Instead, the embalmer makes small incisions in the abdomen and inserts tubes into the body cavity.
For what?
Draining?
Draining the liquids.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yummy.
I think maybe in ancient Egypt they used to take out the organs, I feel like, and place them in jars next to the body.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Take a nap.
You take a nap.
I'd like to.
Drink your coffee.
Drink your coffee. In November 1959, in closed and open sessions before the U.S. House Oversight Committee, 335 disc jockeys from around the country admitted to having received over $263,000 in consulting fees. That figure was only the tip of the Payola iceberg. Before the hearing, Phil Lind, a DJ at Chicago's Wait, WAIT, had confessed that he had once taken $22,000 to play a single record.
Huh. I wonder what the record was.
I bet it was Blueberry Hill.
Yeah.
Fats Domino?
I think that sounds right.
Nonstop Dread and Danger with Danielle and Kristine.
Yay!
The herky is a cheerleading jump with one leg straight out to the side and the other bent flat beneath the body, named after Lawrence Herkimer, the founder of the National Cheerleaders Association and former cheerleader at Southern Methodist University. That sounds very much like what Eddie Van Halen does.
Very much. Did you hear that story of the girl who's... this part I don't understand. There were only like 4 members of her... high school, I can't remember if it was high school or college, cheerleading team. Mm-hmm. And 3 of them quit right before they had a meet. So she just went and did it herself.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
She did.
No, but she got a lot of applause. And
good for her.
Her and her coach like redesigned it to, I haven't seen the actual cheer, but yeah.
Let's find it.
Story, yeah.
You know what I want to do?
What?
I want to thank some of our Seek Shelter patrons.
Awesome.
So
we're talking about our Patreon.
Yes.
Highest level, the Seek Shelter, in which you get
a shout out,
10% off merchandise, a shout out. You get the newsletter. You get one bonus episode a month, and extended versions of the episodes that you're hearing right now.
You get so much.
So much.
First, I want to thank Allie. She doesn't give a last name because she doesn't need to. No. She's like Cher. She's like Prince. She's like, name one more.
Madonna.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Or Allie's last name is Susan, and she doesn't want me to bag on her for having 2 first names.
She was like, I'm just going to be Allie.
I'm not going to be no Paul Tim Paul.
I know what Koenig's going to do to me. I'm just Allie, which is a very cool name.
Yeah.
The next person we want... So thank you, Allie.
Thank you, Allie.
The next person we want to thank is Jackie Applegate.
Great name.
It's fun to say. It's fun mouth sounds.
Don't say mouthfeel. If you go to mouthfeel, we're no longer friends.
Who says mouthfeel?
Oh, it's like an expression people use in cooking.
I won't. I promise.
Okay.
Next up, thank you, Jackie. We really appreciate your support. Chris Dooley.
Chris Dooley.
You know, Chris Dooley to me seems like somebody who would have comic strip.
It does sound like a good,
Dooligans.
Hey, that's good.
It's a bar.
Really good.
It's a bar, and everybody likes to hang out at Dooligans.
Yep.
And it's his strip, Chris Dooley. Dooligans. If that's ever been,
it becomes for some reason extremely racist.
Yes. Whites only at Dooligans.
Yeah.
So if that's ever been a dream of yours, Chris,
go for it.
We say go for it. Life is too short to not chase after your dreams. Look at us. Okay. Jason Russell.
Love it.
Just, you know what? That's like a guy I went to high school with.
I mean, that is 2 first names, but I accept that one. It's a little bit less first namey.
I mean, we have a lot of 2 first names here. Jackie Applegate. You didn't go to school with anybody named Applegate. Dooley for sure. You know Dooley? Yeah. Oh, that guy's a great quarterback.
Yeah.
Dooley, you can count on him.
Yeah.
All right. Leslie Wallstrom.
Thank you, Leslie.
Thank you, Leslie. I love you. I don't know why. I'm just falling in love.
You're so full of love to give.
You know what it is? It's the magic mind.
It is.
It's made me weird.
Imagine drinking it with a Celsius.
Oh, don't.
Oh,
Karen.
you know what? You know what they say in the sleep study I've just done.
Yeah.
You got to stay away from that.
Yeah.
Those high sugar
from here to home.
Those high sugar energy drinks, no bueno.
Yeah.
So bad for you.
Yeah, Karen,
is good. It's healthy.
We want you to start taking better care of yourself. You haven't joined me on any of my 3.5 mile walks.
That's a long walk.
You guys should go get a walk and then get a tattoo.
Walk tattoo.
Walk to the tattoo
There's
place.
a tattoo place directly down the street, like 15 steps from my house. I think there's a tattoo
Go
place.
do it.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that place.
They definitely got that Black Panther tattoo on the wall.
I'm sure they do.
It's their logo.
I want to thank everyone for listening today.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks to everyone who supports us on social media. Thank you to our patrons on Patreon.
Yeah.
You can check us out there.
If you haven't done so yet, go check us out.
We love
if
you.
it rings true for you.
Is it just patreon.com how to survive, right? Or is it pod how to survive?
It's one of those. I'm going to tell you right now.
I know if you go to patreon.com and just look in the search bar for, or whatever, in the magnifying glass for How to Survive with Danielle and Kristine, you will find us.
It's podcast How to Survive.
Awesome.
Very easy. But yes, if you just go type in our podcast, we will be right there, just ready to embrace you with love and acceptance and a welcome message as soon as you sign up. We send it to you. I love to see you.
All right. Well, thank you, everyone. And until next time,
remain calm.